now, shouldn't it? And we should be LIVE. Welcome back to the Random Show, episode number 146, I think it is. 146. Today is a special episode. We are back in the house with my guy Rodeo. What's up, Rodeo?
What's going on? What's going on, chat? What's going on, AZ? Happy to be back.
Yeah, we got like a double header one today. You know what I mean? Double header. We're coming at you like a double Big Mac, a double cheeseburger. It was National Burger Day the other day, right? So I expect to see my 50 pence. Did you see the advert? The McDonald's did. They were like promoting their cheeseburgers for 50 cents. Like it was a special price. Yeah, it was 50, in America it was a special price for National Burger Day. I saw that. I was like, you know what? Your burger should be that price anyway. To be fair, you know what I mean? It shouldn't be $2 or something.
What are you talking about? They got top quality meat over there.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's the best grass fed wagyu meat, isn't it? Yeah? Wagyu meat from McDonald's. Mama rotted, but yeah. Yeah. So 50 cents for a burger. This stream isn't 50 cents. It's fucking free. So give us a like down below. That's all we ask. We don't want your 50 cents. Keep it. Feed your kids and just give us a like. that's it. A like will go a long way. A like and subscribe would go good. Please tell Brito is okay. Brito, your audio is low. I've been told. Ramp up your audio. Is your audio low? Is it high?
I'm ramping up my audio. How's this?
Yeah, go on. Say Tinker Tailor Sailor Spy. Whoops, now he's gone. Uh-oh.
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
I'm at a rug.
There we go. Perfect. I
was getting some echo on the YouTube channel, so I had to leave it.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, chat. I might not be able to see what you guys are saying.
Yeah, you can just pop. Can you? You're on your phone and you can't pop up the chat. There's a link if you go on your channel. There should be underneath the little buttons. I think there's a link you can like pop up the chat. You can have it as a separate thing.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna check that out. I don't have YouTube Premium, man. I'm too fucking broke. So,
I don't either, man. It's not separate. It's not like a thing. Actually, I don't know if you can do it on your phone, but there's a separate link. Don't worry. If you want to desktop, there's a separate link that I use. You can basically, when you're watching somebody's YouTube, sometimes I'll do that. I'll have like the pop up chat on the side, so you can just like there's a couple of buttons. I think on the top there's 3 little dots, and you can flip in and pop it out.
Got it.
Yeah, and it pops out to a separate window.
Alright, cool.
Okay, cool. They're saying that this.
Cool,
exactly. Yeah. I use that. That's just handy in case, like, I don't know. I'm a little bit of a weirdo like that. If I watch people stream, I just want to watch what people are saying. I'll just have that up there. So yeah. Let me okay.
Apologies, caseload. I'll try to talk a bit louder so you guys can hear me.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna say it's still low, but I'll take it. Let me say Discord link is expired. Okay, cool. Let me just quickly change that right now and get that done. Little Discord link. It's annoying how it's always like it expire. Well, I guess you could set it to never expire, but that's a bit weird. But then it always expires to 7 days. I guess it's a safety precaution, isn't it? That Discord thing. It's a safety privacy thing, probably.
There's a lot going on with Discord. They're changing a lot of shit around. They're making a few like updates and shit. So
yeah, I was talking to somebody and I got some extra info and I found out that allegedly there's a big drug and alcohol issue on Discord. Are you aware of this?
Right, I heard you were talking about.
Yeah, it's like a little underground thing because I guess people are at home, they don't really see how much they're drinking or how much drugs they're doing, and there's little communities there, so you feel like these guys are your friends and stuff. You're having a good time, and people are getting a little bit too loosey goosey with it. It's getting a bit too crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say people were selling drugs on Discord.
No. Yeah, just having fun, innit? Yeah, exactly. There we go. So I was just thinking, like, humans and our potential to just ruin a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, we know how to ruin stuff. Like, just have your chats with your friends, have your little servers. That's not good enough. We're gonna make it hardcore.
You know what it is, man? It's like everybody's going through so much shit these days. I think after COVID, everything kind of went belly up, man. Everybody just kind of said, "Fuck it, let's go wild." You know what I'm saying?
You know what?
Let's do it.
I'm gonna go for broke. They're like, you know what? Let's just go. If we're gonna go out, let's go out with a bang.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't blame them, but I, I find the image of somebody getting, ODing on their laptop chair really sad. But hey,
Whoa,
hey,
for
let's not.
real?
Yeah, no. I'm just saying. I find the image of it, but I don't want to get too dark and stuff and start
Oh, okay,
imagining weird things.
okay.
No. It didn't happen.
All right, don't worry, don't worry.
No. I'm being bleak, Aggie. You know what I mean? I'm being the bleak one here. Uh,
Yeah. Oh shit, got a dark AZ over here.
hey. You know the vibes. You know exactly what we're doing here. You know the vibes. So, let's just jump right into it, right? And I think the first thing that I want to speak about here is something that I was surprised to see because I guess in my brain, personally, I never really leave anything valuable really in my luggage. Like I don't really when I go to the airport, I don't really have money on me and stuff. Usually, if I'm gonna take out money, I might usually withdraw it at the location because nowadays, I think before in the past, it was maybe a little bit harder to get foreign currency and maybe your card didn't work abroad. But most people's cards do work abroad, so you can just withdraw it at local bank account and shit. So I'm surprised to see the story which I've gotten here about these two TSA agents, I guess, in Miami Airport, who have been caught on their CCTV cameras stealing money from passengers' luggage and shit. And again, it's just surprised me because I don't necessarily take too many stuff in there. But then on the other side of things, it's just surprising the brazen nature at which they're doing it. They're not even trying to be like that crafty. They're really just digging their hands into people's luggage and going through it. So I guess my question for you is, do you take a lot of like expensive belongings with you on holiday? Do you take cash and stuff? Is that something you've ever done? Like to the airport?
Nah, hell no, hell no, nah. I totally try to avoid doing that because some bullshit like this might happen. You might lose your luggage, and people are fucking crazy, man. It's just all you gotta do is give them the opportunity. For me, what shocks me is just the stupidity because we work there. You know, their cameras watching you, and but I know, people these, especially this time and age, man. Like people wouldn't hesitate to take the shit. They wouldn't think twice about it, even if it's the stupidest thing ever.
It's weird because that's what you said, the cameras thing. Like the whole point of TSA was like is essentially like anti-terrorism. So they have
Yeah,
cameras everywhere, right? Mostly because they want to catch people, with like crazy shit. So to steal that kind of stuff tells me one of two things. Most likely, no one's checking the cameras, really, in the normal day every day. And second, for these guys, the crime is worth the risk. Like they must get on. Like how I'm saying I don't take anything with me, and you're saying you don't. I think most likely the opposite is true. People take cash money with them to the airport, and these guys catch amazing licks. That's why they're taking that kind of risk and they're being that kind of brazen.
yeah, definitely. Because I don't like, but it doesn't make sense for me. You know what I'm saying? Like we got credit cards, we got a bunch of shit where you don't need to take your money with you. So I think personally the blame is 50-50, man. You should have been more prepared than that when you were going on your trip because it just shit happens, man. Like even people can take your fucking luggage or lose it or something. But yeah, and it goes back to what we were saying though, like the times we're living in, like things are so hard right now. Trust is a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Like it's something real rare. Like people would just they'll do what they gotta do to survive, man. If that means like fucking up your vacation, that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
It is
yeah,
what it is.
yeah. You won't believe what happened just now.
What happened?
In an effort to make my microphone work, I didn't have yours working. So I was basically just talking to my. It's fixed now. They can hear you. But for the first 5 minutes, I was just talking to the chat. Was like, is he talking to somebody? I had
This isn't
the
called a random show for any
honestly,
reason,
I
right?
I had the page
This is
muted before I couldn't hear you. I was like, why can't I hear him? Then I put it on and I don't have your feed on, so it just sounds. It's just so whatever someone else could hear, they were basically hearing it from the headphones. Whatever else they were hearing, they were picking you up faintly through my headphones, through the mic. Like, oh my god, man. Anyway,
I'm watching chat. Daisy, I'm
Anyway,
watching chat. They're like, "We can't hear him.
yeah,
We can't hear him." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm yelling on the phone. So they're like,
yeah.
"Yeah, can you guys?" Like,
Tell
oh my
that
god.
to do. So, hey, relax, please, relax. But yeah,
Oh
yeah.
shit.
Anyway, let me
You
quickly read
guys hear me
it.
now?
Is that yeah? Can you guys hear everybody? Everybody, right? I think they can. Microphone is still a bit tinny. Yeah. This is the headphone mic. We're just gonna have to watch it. We're gonna have to work with this, and it is what it is.
See, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
my fault,
yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah, yeah. AZ
It's
is.
AZ's. It's all AZ, guys.
I
AZ
mean,
is redacted.
I am
Look at
redacted for sure. I'm having my redacted moment. This is my CTE. I've got CTE, guys. I'm sorry. I've got CTE. Oh, anyways. Moving on. And I'll quickly read the story to give you guys an overview. So this is courtesy of CBS News. Some background on the Miami Airport Steelers, alleged ones. They're saying in the title, which is hilarious. I like how they still have to say it allegedly, even though the video shows them digging into people's fucking suitcases. It's fucking hilarious. Video allegedly. You see their hands. Anyway, whatever. Travelers are surprised to hear that 2 TSA agents are accused of stealing from passengers at MIA's e-checkpoint. We trust TSA to got it. They wouldn't do anything to tamper with our stuff, said the passenger, Salah, whatever. The state attorney's office released several video clips. In one, we see agents concentrating on the Pacific bag. Then moments later, we watch as one of them puts their hand in the pocket. According to a police report, the pair is accused of removing $600 from a passenger's wallet. Okay, see? For me, the one just thinking about that because I'm not fucking perfect. The one time that I do carry cash with me to go somewhere is if I'm going to a location, or sometimes you go on holiday somewhere. I don't know where. Just pick a place where you'd go, where maybe you go there often, and you know most likely there isn't an ATM in the area, so you just have some money in your hand. So it's usually like $50 or €100, just so you can get some breakfast. You can order a cab, just something. That's what I would do. But I'm not gonna take my whole spending. I mean, that's the whole thing. I don't like, not my whole spending money, because I'm also worried if I lose it, then I'm fucked. You know what I mean? I wanna take something where it's enough for me to like get somewhere, but it's not like it's gonna kill me. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. That's the thing that I'm
Right.
thinking. Yeah, yeah. But also, I'm assuming, if it's my parents and stuff, they're carrying all the cash with them. Older people probably do that, I'd imagine, right? You have your whole fanny pack full of like your spending money for your holiday, so it makes sense.
But like what's the worst thing that could happen during a holiday when I think about it is if your car decides not to work and your whole vacation is fucked. You know what I'm saying?
That's a
So
good
I
point.
can't even blame them.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you be going to the restaurant,
That's a
you
good
give your
point.
card, you'd be like, "Sorry, sir, decline."
And I've noticed even
And
in
you're on vacation.
exactly, I've noticed even in the UK, if you just go outside of London, there's not as many ATMs. I'm sure it's like that in every country. When you go out the main cities, there's not as many ATMs around. Not all places take card. Most places only want cash. So you kind of have to like have that in mind. You know what I mean? It's an important thing to
Right.
have. Yeah, yeah, you're right about that. You're actually right.
And credit cards are wild, man. Credit cards will fuck your vacation up in
Yeah,
a
yeah,
minute. So
yeah, yeah. So it says
so
it.
they just wait. So they just put their hands in there and took
Yeah,
out $600
yeah,
from one
yeah.
wallet.
There's I think it's for several wallets. There's a video here.
Okay.
There's a video here I'm playing from the clip on Sky News, and I think this video shows them taking some money from one bag, I guess. But I guess whoever's putting the case together, because it says it's a lawyer or something in this thing, right? Police report. I
Oh
guess.
shit.
Yeah, I guess they're the ones who are missing the $600. Because yeah, it says according to the police report, the pair is accused of removing $600 from a passenger's wallet while the passenger was in the screening process. I think they have a lot of nerve because they don't realize they're on camera. So the passenger, David Caban, there are places that are monitored so much. What are they thinking? Caban wondered. Jose Gonzalez and Labrius Williams, what a name, Labrius, arrested, charged in the case back in July. The police report said that they will distract passengers as they were being screened to steal monies from their belongings. Yeah, like, can you remove your shoes, please? And as you look down to tie down your shoes, they slip the money out.
Yo.
That's so mean. That's so
Yo, that's
evil.
wild.
That is so evil.
That's wild. You got to put your money in your socks from now on, guys, when you're
Yeah.
traveling.
You can't have any of those things, man.
Your socks.
Honestly, man. Like, what?
This is wild,
It
man.
says that more
Yo,
surveillance
America's going
videos.
crazy right now, man.
Yeah, People out there are hungry. It is what it is. Most surveillance video shows where we see a TSA agent appears to unzip a bag and pull something out. He then meets up with that same bag before going into an x-ray and again putting his hands in his pockets. Before I reach security area, I take my watch off, my ring, my wallet, and put it inside the bag, and I never lose sight of my bag, says former Miami-Dade police officer. He tells us to keep his belongings safe. He never places valuables out in the open on trays. Instead, he puts them in his bag, watches it, and takes inventory after going through security. After I clear security, I go through my bag and get everything back out. I get my wallet, I get my watch, I get my phone, I get my cash and put it back in the pocket and make sure nothing's missing. Clint Henderson of Travel News website gives us tips on what you should do. Like, honestly, only in America would they give you tips on like how not to get stolen from in an airport. This is common sense, but it says, number 1, don't put valuables in checked bags. Number 2, don't use flashy luggage. So no remoas, okay? No remoas. Number 3, keep loose cash in pockets. Number 4, don't carry excess cash. Number 5, fancy jewelry, leave it at home. Number 6, use credit cards, not cash. Number 7, you can use your ATM overseas. And number 8, put air tags in checked luggage. So those are the ways in order for you to make sure that you don't get stolen from in these airports, or just don't go to like airports in the hood, because I'm assuming that airport in Miami is like in a rough part of Miami. It's not like, you know what I mean? That's probably why everybody is putting their hands in your shit.
Yo, everything happens in Florida, bro. There's always some shit going down in Florida. It's crazy, man. Hey, yo, 7:30 said that the TSA agents can search your socks. That's fucking wild.
There we go. That's
Can you imagine that?
Makes a lot of sense. And
Take
also,
off your socks, sir.
And also those X-ray things, don't they have like, you can't, because I remember my mum used to have that. I don't know if your parents have that. It's that boomer thing where she had like it's like a thing that you put in your body to like put your money in. It looks like a heart monitor, but it's not. It's got like a little pocket in it, and you put it around your body, like your actual skin.
Shit.
Yeah, it's like to prevent people. It's to prevent people from going in your pockets and pickpocketing you when you're on holiday. It's like a little Velcro.
Whoa,
yeah,
I never heard of this shit before.
It's like a boomer thing. Like like boomers love it. It's like a little thing that you put across your chest, like a heart monitor, like a footballer, but it's actually got a pocket in it. Yeah. It's like a sports bra.
Yo, that's crazy.
It's like a sports bra, but it's what sports bra for a wallet, you know, for money and shit.
Whoa. Yeah, maybe we need to buy some of that, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is, man.
We need to model some of those. Like, it's a new product from Skims. You know what I mean? Just have that class to your body. Never get stolen from again.
It is what it is, man.
So
it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do, man.
So I guess that person, what's happening? Somebody's getting so charges were dropped. So there's a first suspect. I guess whoever's missing the money filed a police report, and that's it. So I think most likely they got away with this because it's an airport, right? You're in transit. You're going somewhere. You probably don't realize where your stuff went missing. You're so like, I mean, it could have gone missing on the on the way to the plane when you go off. There's so many points where somebody could have took your money. There's no way for you to remember unless you actually checked your wallet before you got on a plane where it went missing. So many people just don't bother even going through with the police report. But unlucky for them, they probably met the one person who went through all the things, got hold of the footage, and now those guys are rolly FUCKED. You know what I mean?
That's wild, because I think psychologically, those guys they're like dressed like security guards. You never guess that security will be the one to rob you. You know what I'm saying? See how wild that is?
Exactly.
You never go, oh, security robbed me.
Exactly.
Like, what?
Exactly. It's absolute heinous thing, but hey, like a part of me like is disgusted, but you know, when you consider how fucking crazy the economy is at the moment, the price of living is what it is. I just understand everyone's hunger. Like, everyone is going crazy. All these kids running up into shops and stealing shit. Like theft has gone. I'm sure if people own stores, I'm sure if you spoke to them, I'm sure shoplifting has gone up crazy amounts. So it's like people are hungry. Yeah, people are hungry. So you know,
you didn't hear what happened in Paris?
No, why in Paris?
They went to like the most expensive spot. I think it was Bulgaria or something. Dudes just walked in there casual with a gun and just took some jewelry and walked out.
Jesus.
And got in the car, and they still haven't found him. Like, I'm telling you, this shit, niggas don't even give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck it.
People are hungry. Exactly. Look at that. That sounds brazen. That sounds like somebody that just I don't care if I get caught. You know what I mean? If I get caught, whatever, I'll go sit down.
Yeah, that's
But
when it
the
gets dangerous.
but the reward is better than the reward is better than sitting at home with an empty stomach. So it's like, bloody okay, I guess so, man. I guess so. I guess so.
Gotta do what I gotta do.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I'm just gonna type up my CV. I'm not gonna. I don't have the stomach for that shit.
You'll find me at McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck that, bro.
Yeah. Hello, Garton. How can I take your order? I'll be there with my little
I'll be over
hat.
there stealing burgers and shit, dog. Stealing 50-cent burgers, but
Exactly.
I'm hungry too, my nigga. I gotta eat too. Shit.
Selling those out from the back. Look, they got 50 there, but it's 25 for you. 50 inside, 25 for you.
For me, what for you. Ah, nah, fuck.
Oh my
Oh
god!
man,
But yeah,
crazy times, bro.
honestly, it's the craziest time, but it does make for good stories. I'm not gonna lie. Seeing the depths of what
Oh, we're
people are
gonna
going
talk
for.
about this for sure.
Yeah, but
We're gonna talk about it.
so let's go to the Oprah stuff because for me, this is a fascinating story because I really kind of respect the fact that she doesn't get it still. I love that. I love the because it shows how disconnected she is from the real world, but it also makes sense because she's a fucking billionaire, right? So if you're a billionaire, and especially in America, they
Right,
treat celebrities a little bit like royalty. It's their version of royalty. They can kind
right.
of do no wrong, and you kind of live in a bit of a bubble. And she's surrounded by sycophants, enablers, bum lickers, clout chasers. Her whole life has just been one smooth gravy train. For the moment she got rich, she hasn't had a single downturn. So I understand why she doesn't get why, especially people that live there. Forget us regular people that are just commentating on this whole thing. Because just to give you some background, Oprah set up a fund with The Rock called the People's Fund of Maui. The premise of it is really good, where essentially she's basically trying to cut the middlemen out and get money directly to the people who've been affected by the forest fires there. So I guess regular charities and stuff, there's a lot more red tape and whatever to get your money. So she wants to set up this fund. Her and The Rock put in a combined 10 million to start off with, and then she asked the public to contribute more to the fund, and then they'll use that fund to then give the people who are affected by the fire a particular amount per month until they get settled, right? And I guess people are complaining that, oh yeah, you're a billionaire and you're only putting 10 million in, and then you're asking the like regular civilians, as the comedians will say, to make up the difference. Like, why don't you and The Rock just pay for it? Like, why are you asking us for anything? And she didn't get it. And now I guess she's responded to people like, saying what they're saying about it. And she's kind of like doubled down, painted herself as a victim a little bit. It was a really strange comment, but what she said was interesting. She said this, she was like, I was excited and I got up in the morning and I saw all this vitriol and I was like, whoa, what happened here? The talk show says that she had been terrorized and vilified online. What if I didn't really know who I am, that I'm the master of my own faith and the captain of my own soul? It will take you out, Winfrey continued on Tuesday. The attacks and lies are conspiracy theories that she's commenting on. So essentially, she doesn't understand why regular people would have a problem with her, the billionaire, asking regular people to contribute to a fund that's meant to help people when she could
Right.
just do it herself.
Right.
It's just like
Yeah.
there's a part of me again. There's no question here. Just the part of me that kind of appreciates just how lacking in self awareness she has because she's a billionaire, isn't it? That's how they're meant to be. What's your opinion?
Yeah. Yeah. You want my take on it? It's pretty simple, and I would have told her if I was friends with her, man. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money she would have donated. It could have been 50 million, 60 million. People would have still been like, "You're a billionaire. What the fuck?" The only amount of money that people would have probably been satisfied with, I'm guessing, right? Imagining, right? 500 million or a billion. Then people would have been like, "Oh, okay. See, that's nice." Where she fucked up at is why is your name got to be in this? You know what I'm saying? Why can't you just quietly donate it? You know, say, have somebody else do all the rah rah and all that shit. And so, you're helping people, but no, you got to make this kind of a bit all about Oprah's donating. Like, I think at the end of the day, maybe that's where some people had an issue with it. You know what I'm saying? Because like, no, yeah, you want to help people, you don't have to tell everybody that you did. Like, what do you need your ego fed for? So that's where the problems come from. It's like, oh, you only donating this much, and yeah, now you got everybody after you and shit with pitch and forks. Like, you're a billionaire. You'll never donate enough for everybody. So
Yeah, you're completely right. I think that is the main issue, really. Like at the heart of it, there was never going to be an amount that people would be happy about. Like especially the way she rolled it out. There was never going to be an amount that you'd be happy with. The only way it would have worked is if she would have done it silently. But unfortunately, with most of the things in life, no one does anything silently. Everyone wants a little bit of attention and congratulations and pat on the back for everything they do. So in this, even when you watch the original video with her and The Rock speaking about it, she mentioned, even in this, I think when she's commenting on it, she said this line that I thought was weird. It was like, everyone kept asking me how they can help, how they can help. And I was thinking to myself, like, you're not directly impacted by it. None of your houses burned down. For so far, we've heard our war properties have been okay. You got out of it unscathed, thank God, right? But why does it even matter that you're the main person? Why are you making it about you? It became like I'm the spokesperson for this part of the world. I'm going to represent these people, even though I'm not from here, and I'm going to be the person that's going to be handling how their rescue gets done. It already was a bit weird how she presented it, and then when it starts like that, and then it's like and then plus the mentioning of Dolly Parton, who's like a very beloved celebrity who's extremely selfless compared to other celebrities. That kind of felt like she was trying to gain sympathy and using somebody else's name for kind of emotional clout points or something. And then the not understanding why people would be annoyed at the optics of you asking them to make the other bit up is a bit like, you know, it kind of reminds me like a little bit like an analogy I had in my head. Like, imagine if you go out with somebody that's got money and they're willing to pay the bill for the dinner. But then when they pay for the bill for dinner, they say, okay, I'm gonna pay the food. You just cover the drinks. It's like either we all split it or you just pay for it. Like, what's this in between? You know what I mean? What is this? Oh, you just get the
yeah,
drinks and I'll get the food. It's like, bruh, either you cover the bill like you said you're gonna do, or we just split it all equally, like we're equal civilians. There's none. Why are we doing all this nonsense? It doesn't make any sense. But again, she wanted all the sympathy. She wanted to be a victim and a hero. She wanted to be the victim, like, oh my god, my house burnt down. Thank you for sending me well wishes. But she also wanted to be fucking Oprah Superman and come in flying in a cape, saving everybody. You can't have both.
that's what. Then that's what she's been doing for so many years, right? On the Oprah show, she's been saving so many fucking people, and now that's kind of, I think it's over, right? All she has is a channel or something.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I think she still needs to feed off of that validation. So that's the sad part, I think, in my opinion. Like when she's like, yeah, I can kind of like a ego vampire, kind of take some clout off this just a little bit. Hey guys, look what I did, and then this is what happens, And how do you feel about The Rock getting into this? Because he's mad quiet. Dude doesn't want no smoke.
Yeah, The Rock is a little bit more social media savvy. He's a little bit more real also. Yes, he's been rich for a long time, but he's a bit more of a The Rock I could imagine seeing at a bar having a pint with some regular people. Oprah's never been in a pub in her life. Do you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't know what normal people do. So I think The Rock knows. He can gauge public temperature. He's like, you know what? I'm not even gonna speak. He hasn't said a word, and
Yeah,
he's been very smart
yeah,
because he already looks bad because he's already from that part of the world and he's doing this nonsense. So he's really not getting that. His social credit is going down. He took the L. He took the abuse in the comments like a man and just kept it moving. He's not out here trying to double down or anything. Okay, I understand. It was a bit tone deaf. I'll do better next time, but in complete silence. He did it the right way.
exactly. Just fade out in the background because he gave how much you give? 5 million?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's they split. It's five each, five each.
Yo, you get five, I get five. Like, bruh, like I know The Rock is still 5 million. He kind of felt that, bro. Like, you guys can't tell me five
Of
million
course, it's The
ain't
Rock,
touched The
man.
Rock.
It's The Rock, bro. It's like he's not like even the biggest actors. Like he's still an actor. You know what I mean? Like that gig is
Yeah,
like your money, your payments are delayed. Your movies are like how many years in advance? You kind of working on a project to project basis. You don't have Oprah money. You're wealthy. Don't no, you're rich. Sorry, not wealthy. Oprah's wealthy. Like she's the kind of person who, if she just stopped doing everything today until the day that she dies, she's never gonna spend all her money. But The Rock, 5 million is a
yeah,
lot.
that's wild.
Like 5 million is like, ugh. Do you know what I mean? But Hey,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd be like, yo, loan me the money, man. Donate it. I'll pay you back, every month. Front me that 5 million back. 'Cause I don't know, man. The Rock, maybe he should have. I don't know. Maybe he should have sat this one out. Not even put his face into. I don't know, man. Maybe he should even have gone, over there, in his home and Hawaii, whatever, and help people out. Show that he's really working at it. Yeah, yeah. But at least he's smarter than Oprah. He's just sitting this out because he knows social media has ADHD, and they'll eventually we'll all forget about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the brutal thing about this, because there was a period. Even now, it's already starting to die down. There's a period where you couldn't not see the stuff about Maui, right? You couldn't not see it. Now, I don't remember the last time I saw a video of the fires over there. Do you know what I mean? But people are probably still struggling. They're still really, finding it hard to get back on their feet. I'm assuming, because last time I checked, it was super depressing to check it, because there was all these video clips of like local people in the council who like, there was filmed like 6 months before, where they denied having a particular service for water to help with the fire thing, and then the fire happens. It's like you're directly responsible because of your oversight. All these really horrendous things are happening, but to us, the news cycle's already moved on. That's the really
Oh,
sad part about all of
yeah.
this stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, the people out there are still suffering, and for the regular person, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was listening to one of your shows. You were talking about the conspiracy theories. Well, the first one you listed, I think you said that they actually started the fire to start building
Yeah, 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 yeah,
shit
yeah,
all around
yeah, yeah,
Hawaii,
yeah, 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 yeah,
and I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, whoa, what? But then you lost me on the second one. And I was like, they control the weather, and I'm like, nah, I see tripping on that one.
Now, but there is what they call is it direct energy something, but they do exist. There are machines, or there are things that they use that can influence the weather, that can affect the weather in some respect. The technology does exist. It is out there. So it's not like a conspiracy theory. It's
Mm,
just whether or not the conspiracy theory is whether or not they use it in to benefit their kind of pockets. Because I'm not a believer in
okay.
coincidence. I don't believe coincidence exists, and the fact that all of the property developers and people jumped on this tragedy, to me, is a maybe indication that they were aware it was going to happen, didn't exactly warn the regular civilians and citizens, because they wanted to. Because imagine if you wanted to try and get somebody's house, but they kept saying no, and then after their house burns down and they lose everything, because you know, fires are devastating. You lose everything, like everything goes. It's like everything, and some people,
Right.
especially people from who are like more traditional, maybe you have money in your floorboards and stuff. Like, you lose everything. You have to start from zero. So if somebody's offering you money for your place and you said no, and then you're in a proper moment of need and they come back again with half the offer, what are you gonna do? For the sake of your family, are you going to stand on your pride and your principles and your morals and say no, or are you going to try and help your family out and get back on your feet? You're going to take the money. And the fact that they do it already, because there's many reports of people that saying, yeah, I've had people call me and offer me half, or offer me the same amount, or offer me double. It shows that these motherfuckers were waiting in the fucking in the in the brushing, like a fucking predator waiting to jump on their prey. It's really crazy.
Yeah, this is nothing new, man. The mafia used to do this all the time, right? Remember they used to like burn down restaurants and then
Yeah, yeah,
force
yeah,
the
yeah,
owner
yeah.
into. So that this if this is real, this is truly truly horrendous. Like this is some, like, even the devil would be like, oh shit, like wow, you guys are really fucked up.
That's
Yeah, it's crazy,
that's
man.
funny, because they don't want that, because they actually think they're good people. That's the thing. Like I think regular people like myself included, we know we're full of shit, and we know we can have moments in our lives where we might dabble in the dark arts. But the thing that's really funny about these people, the hypocrisy is more so like they actually think they are good angels all the way through 24/7. Like, it's just like, for the most part, again, not to be that disparaging, but like, to get to that level anyway, to be a billionaire, you're gonna have to crush some people. It's just really hard to do that
Oh yeah,
ethically. You know what I mean? So first of all,
yeah,
your bank balance already cuts you out of being like a good person, because to get to that level, somebody's gonna have to suffer for you to have a private jet, for you to have maids, for you to have properties all over the world. Like, somebody along the line is crying into their pillow at night. You know, somebody who I don't know who it is, but somebody has to cry. So the fact that you think you're just a good person all the way through, just because you know you got a smile and you like to hug people and shit, and you've got a book club, it's a bit like, all right, I guess.
Yeah, it's the concept of Machiavelli, right? I'm not gonna get too deep into it because I'm gonna bore you guys and I'm gonna sound like a fucking boomer. But yeah, it's so true what you said that to get to billionaire status, oh boy, you got to do some dirty, dirty shit, even if you don't realize it. Just like yeah, just like you said, like the jets, the pollution. Hopefully you treat the people that are working with you, correctly. But I remember here in France, bro, like there are rich people that literally pay to have fireworks every time they go to sleep in their like garden.
Jesus.
Like literally, yeah, they're
Mm,
paid to do that, and you have to every day they have to set up a firework. There's people that literally wear diapers
mm,
to work for them, so they
mm.
don't have to go to the bathroom, like crazy shit like that. Like when you're on that level, it can get pretty fucking grimy.
You can get really, really grimy, really, really dark, really, really grimy, very, very, very quickly. But yeah, hey, in the end, I guess the people that need the money will get it. Lessons will be learned forever. Oprah and The Rock will probably get some juicy, juicy tax breaks because of the quote unquote charity they're doing, which will line their pockets even further. And everyone will forget about it
There
in
you
a couple of
go.
days. So it's all good. It's all good.
There you go.
It's all good. Everyone wins. Right? The house always wins.
Everybody's happy.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's happy. They get some outrage followers. We get to talk about some stuff. The people suffering get to have some money. The people that will have to be, activists online get to shout at them, feel good about themselves.
Beautiful.
Everyone wins. Yeah, exactly. Everyone wins. So, um, let's switch to the flipping this rapper story because this to me is
This is
absolutely
a good one.
fascinating because my main question for this rapper story, my main question about this is, has this always been a thing and it's just obviously being more of a thing now because of social media and the internet? Or is it just a reality of like some rap music that if you actually want to sell, if you actually want to have like a legit image, you kind of need to be about your raps. So if you're going to talk about robbing, shooting, and killing people, you better rob and shoot and kill people because if you do, we've got evidence to show that you will be rewarded for it because people will notice, oh, you're really about that life, and they're gonna reward you with streams and listens. Because this story is crazy. I'll read the headline quickly here. It says, rapper arrested on a murder charge after allegedly writing a song and making a music video about the crime. And that's a picture of the guy there. And I read the first couple of paragraphs. It says, a Nevada rapper, was arrested on a murder charge after Las Vegas police said he confessed to the murder in his song lyrics. Kajon McDaniel was arrested on August 29th on a charge of open murder with a deadly weapon. A news release from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department said his bail was set on Thursday as $1 million with electronic monitoring. According to court records, CNN has reached out to McDaniel's attorney to comment. Daniel had been considered a person of interest in the death of Randall Wallace on September 18th, 2021, in part due to his connection to a vehicle that matched the description that one used during a crime. In July, detective noticed a music video posted by McDaniel in YouTube and reviewed the lyrics and the warrant. Reviewed the lyrics in the video, and the warrant said, detective noted in the music video, it bore a sufficient level of similarity to the details of the murder. This included the fact that Kajon confessed to the murder in his lyrics, and details provided by Kajon in the music video were not released to the public and would not be common knowledge. One lyric included in the warrant is, this one's the best, park the car, double back on feet, the smartest way to slide. Drove in, double lock your man, make sure you get your bod. Which the warrant states includes details of killing that were not released to the public. In addition, it states that while McDaniel rapped in the video, he reenacted elements of the killing that were consistent with the evidence gathered on the scene. So this guy basically went and slid on one of his ops, allegedly, then decided to write the entire affair into a rap, performed it into a video, but unbeknownst to him, some of the details included in these lyrics weren't included in the police report or known to the public. So they were basically, quite easy to see. Okay, he was actually there and he was present. They linked the card to him and put it, and obviously got him arrested. I'm just curious as to what would drive somebody to self-snitch on themselves like this? What is at the heart of this? I don't understand.
What do you mean? Social media likes. Yo, back in our day, right? People would talk about it in their raps, but they would just hint at it.
Mm.
Today, these kids, they got to tell you exactly how they did it, word for word. It's just, it's stupidity beyond comprehension. You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes really thinking like goldfishes. Like, all they care about, and this is what makes TikTok and all that shit so dangerous, is the instant rep, man. That's the most important thing. It's like God to them, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So if I gotta snitch on myself in this song, at least I did it.
Mm.
So I'm gonna tell you exactly how I did it. And then I ain't thinking about like maybe there's gonna be an investigation and I'm kind of snitching on myself. Like they're incapable of thinking that far.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, I think you got a point there, and I just think there's obviously a part to this that the truth of it really, or people don't want to admit, is that this type of music does only really work if you know the person that's rapping it is about it. It doesn't work if the person doesn't. That's why the 6ix9ine thing kind of failed as soon as he snitched and he tried to come back to talking that rah rah. No one believed it. Obviously, the music quality wasn't good anyway, but it never goes anywhere. But if you based your whole identity on being a drill rapper or whatever it may be, or like an actual rapper that actually has been in a gang, you need to be about that action. You gotta have a bit of a rap sheet in order to make it kind of viable, which in effect means that the fans are kind of like are kind of gassing you up in a way, inadvertently, because I'm sure, even especially with this crime, I'm sure if you go in his YouTube channel or you go in his whatever he's got, I'm sure that one track has got the most listens out of anything he's got in his catalog. So
Was it worth it though?
that's the thing though. That's the problem. Like you have to kind of levy up in your head, like because if he was a little bit more vague and if he wasn't so descriptive, he probably could have got away with it, and it still would have been the number one thing on his thing. But because it's been so real and it's so autobiographic, it just adds a level of whatever. And I think nowadays these kids, honestly, that nowadays or just people in general, even say kids. I don't want to put it all on you. It's youth. It's not a youth thing. I think it's just society. I think people are looking at it like that. Is it worth it? And I think it's worth it to them. You're gonna be basically, you've basically immortalized yourself because now you're in the news. You're a topic of discussion. Everyone's talking about this thing. No one knew who you were before this. So that attention to a lot of people is worth whatever consequences happen.
Yo, you know what the problem with that is that people's attention span is really short. You might be hot right now, but I promise you in like 2 weeks they won't remember your fucking name. But you're sitting you're sitting in jail for life. Unless you go like in a mass murder or something, you do some really fucking stupid. So it's a tough question, man. Because either way, they're gonna forget about you, right? I mean, I totally I agree with what you're saying that everybody's gonna talk about you, but social media, man, has a short attention span.
But imagine if he gets away with it though. Imagine if he gets away with
That's
it
something
because
else.
they said
Yeah,
I was
yeah, that's
watching a
something else.
1090 Jake video, who's an amazing YouTuber who covers this sort of stuff, and he made a good point towards the end. So basically, the only evidence that they had, or the only kind of clue they had of who did the crime, who did the murder, sorry, was the white car that was leaving the crime scene, and a couple eyewitnesses accounts that said they saw people fighting, but they couldn't identify who it was from far. So obviously he stitched himself by describing what happened, and then when they dig deep into his details, they found out that his girlfriend owns that white car. So it was actually his girlfriend's car that he went and did a hit on, which is all kinds of crazy. But there's no actual evidence that ties this guy to actually being there. Like it's going to be one of those cases where there's a lot of circumstantial thing that kind of 1 + 1 = 2, but it doesn't actually say that he was there, whatever it may be. So if he manages to
Oh
like
shit.
slip away and get away with it, it's going to be worth it because he'll become big. He's going to be bigger than he would have become if this story didn't catch the news. So he's like he's literally flipping a coin on his life. It's a flip of a coin, and he's willing to take that risk. That's the really sad, crazy part about it. There's kids nowadays who think, you know what, it's worth the risk. I might lose my entire life, or I might change my whole life.
Wow. How you feel about that? Do you feel like it's worth the risk? Would you take that risk?
I'm gonna say yeah, man. I'm gonna say yeah.
You would?
If I'm committed to that,
Yeah.
no. Look, I'm not talking about it from my regular civilian, tax-paying normie sitting at home in a comfortable house, flipping point POV. I'm saying if I committed to this life of being a gangster, of being a hoodlum, of living that life, there's not much. There's no other way out except for dying or going to jail anyway, right? So if those are your only two outcomes, like rarely do fucking gangbangers live on to their fucking 60s and 70s. It doesn't happen, especially if you're living a life. Really, you're gonna come across somebody who's more of a gangster than you are, and you're gonna get knocked off. It is what it is, or you're gonna end up in prison. If there's a third option where you can become a fucking world-renowned or famous rapper because of the work that you did on the roads, and there's a chance that you could do that. Of the three options, I'd rather take the chance of becoming the world famous rapper than dying or going to prison. For sure.
Wow. That's wild. I kind of understand what you're talking about, and you also there's an extreme aspect of taking full responsibility beyond understanding. Like really saying like, fuck it, this is what I chose, this is my career. If I'm gonna die for it, I'm gonna die for it. And if I gotta kill somebody, I'm gonna kill somebody, which is pretty fucking wild. But yeah, I understand what you're coming from now that you break it down. Me personally, if you're asking me, I don't think it's worth it because that jail cell is awfully small, man. I'd rather be out here, bro.
Yeah, yeah, of course. But I'm also think about it this way. I'm also assuming you're only knocking off ops. You're not shooting in the air to random people. You're not robbing old ladies and stuff. I'm not talking about all that stuff. I'm talking about just gangster to gangster, crew to crew, gang to gang. It's just like, it's people that live that life. So whatever, right? It's not like regular civilians you're knocking off and stuff. I'm not talking about all that sort of stuff. But if it's just, criminal to criminal, right? Like low life to low life, hey, we're all gonna die anyway, right? We're all gonna fucking die, like on the floor, like outside on our own, shivering in the cold, gargling our own blood. If I got an option to fucking become Gunner or become Young Thug, I'm gonna take it. You know what I mean? It's a bit bleak, but I'm gonna take it. Why not?
I'm staying out of that life, bro. I'll be gunning 100%. I'm snitching on everybody. Fuck you. He did it. He did it. He did. He definitely did it. Oh man, I'll be the worst snitch, man. 69 got nothing on me. Fuck that. I'm staying far away from that shit, bro.
Yeah, no, no. I don't know. I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't know. This is the thing. I'm being a purist. I'm not pure. I'm being a idealistic, I guess, with this sort of stuff. But it doesn't work that way because you're in a world of like thieves and gangsters and stuff. That you have to just look after yourself. Basically, there is no fucking code of conduct. It doesn't exist. But I think if talk about the Gunner thing, if I'm Young Thug, I'm gonna be a bit annoyed at Gunner, even though he might not be involved in the gang stuff. The fact that you benefited from the stuff that I was doing in a way, right? It kind of would make me feel a way that you're outside, you've lost weight, you're smiling, you're performing and shit, and I'm in this prison. Like, I mean? It would hurt me a little bit. That's the thing. But
Yeah.
also, look at it from Young Thug's point of view. That's what I'm saying. The squeeze is worth the squeeze. The juice is worth no. The squeeze is worth the juice. Whatever that fucking saying is. With Young Thug, if you remember his fucking his upbringing, or he's ascent to the industry, he benefited a lot from being the fucking rap fucking boogeyman. Do you know what I mean? People always had rumors about Young Thug being really about it. Okay, he wears skirts and stuff and he paints his nails, but no, this guy's really with it. And there was rumors from before he started, like, no, this guy's really about this life. So that's the proof to you that the juice is worth the squeeze, because even though he's an amazing artist, incredible rapper, amazing melodies, all this sort of stuff, that kind of danger about him was part of the selling point. It kind of added to his allure. So he was able to live a life of what? Let's say, how long, what run he had? He was a celebrity and really famous for like what? Let's say 10 years. 10, 15 years, he got to live like a life of a rock star, right? Maybe like most of us, do we even have one full year of like everything going well? I don't think most of us even have one calendar year of anything going well. You have 10 years of just like flying on private jets, eating caviar, do you know what I mean? Being surrounded by baddies, having all the addies, right? Lean whenever you want, all the cars, all the fucking crazy spike trainers and Emery jeans for 10-year run. And then you have to sit down in prison for 30 years. It's a good deal, man.
Yo, easy. I don't know if I agree with you on that one, man. Oh, fuck that,
I
dog.
knew
Keep your
it.
10 years, bro. I'd rather be 30 years free. Nah, because, yo, listen, in my opinion, right, you can get all that. You can get all that. Either you can put 10 years work and get 30 years free,
Mm,
or, then you get all the accolades, you get the baddies, you get the jets, whatever, whatever. Or you take the shortcut, you take
mm,
your 10 years, and then you take your 30 in prison. See what I'm saying? That's how I see it.
mm.
It's a crossroad, man. It's how fast you want this, bruh. It is what it is, though. You want it now or you want it later?
Mm. You want a microwave or you want
Because
a
I mean,
steak? You know.
because yo, who is it? Lil Durk? Lil Durk, right? I know dude did dirt, man. Dude,
Mm.
he was King Von's friend, whatever. I know that he must have killed so many fucking people. But at the end of the day, did you see how quick he straightened up?
So
Like, dude's like,
fast,
I'm not
so fast.
fucking with the
Mm.
streets. I don't want none of this shit. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. He like, you know what I'm saying? He was one of the lucky ones, bro. Because, whoo, man, that was. I think one more fuck up, and you never hear from him again, bro.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's, at the end of the day, it's up to you.
even what 7 Days is saying is true. You can't really sit in prison with good memories. That's probably the worst place to have good memories, right? And I'm also saying it like prison's like a vacation. I'm saying it like you have to go to a retreat, like a silent retreat or something. No, it's not. It's like people forget that element of prison, like of the institutionalized version of it. Like you could come back into society more broken than when you went in. You thought you had problems before going in
Oh
there.
yeah,
You could come out a complete animal. Do you know what I mean? Completely changed. That look in you. Because I remember when I was younger and stuff, like a few of my, friends and people that we went to school with, that age when people like they decide whether or not they're gonna go college or they're gonna start fucking sticking up shops. And some kids went for that direction. And then you saw like legitimately the change in this. Like they were always naughty, but then you saw, oh shit, you saw them again when they're 18. And you're like, they had that look on their eye where it's like you've seen some shit, like, and you're just, you know what I mean? You're ready to go whenever, like that look in their eyes of like they don't have much to lose,
yeah,
not much to
yeah.
live for. There's no really turning
Mm,
back that, especially to some person that's kind of they went into foster care or whatever, or something happened along the way. You're like, oof, like you know what I mean, you've seen some stuff, like some real stuff, and you're probably never gonna be the same again. And it's probably even worse because I'm saying it now from 10 years of luxury, but it's probably better to leave like I don't know how long you're gonna live, whatever, of just skirting above the poverty line than living 10 years of like absolute luxury and then having to sit in fucking prison for 30. Like
30 years.
that is I'd rather like literally live on food stamps the rest of my life and be somewhat content
Yeah,
with my level and enjoy what I can with what I have available than be riding
yeah,
around in the hidden
yeah.
hills in a Ferrari with a bad B next to me, and then now I'm sharing a prison with a bunk bed with a guy that's a lifer. Like,
Oh
oof,
yeah, Pinky is waiting for you, man. Every night,
oh,
every night. You got duties to Pinky now. That's
he's
what
so
you wanted,
picky,
right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You were fucking baddies now. You fucking Pinky. No, Pinky's fucking you. Hell no, bro. Leave me alone, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think,
you
yeah.
remember that video? You remember that video of that dude from Young Thug's crew getting like almost stabbed? How horrific it was. You remember that?
Oh my god! Do you remember how much? See the comments below. Like, I think when that video came out, everyone's like, "Oh my god, I never want to be in prison," because you saw how like, I'm not even say barbaric, but just how miserable it looked. You know, like because the media when I saw that video, I was like, imagine what they were doing to him before, kicking his tray down,
Oh,
pushing him out of the queue, spitting on him, like just little
dog.
psychological things, just to mess with you. And then they finally go to that extent.
Yo, yo, Pablo Escobar. I think but when he was like at the top of his game,
Yeah,
I swear to God, he would have rather commit suicide than go to American prison.
yeah,
Like
no, no,
by
no, no, no,
far.
no, for sure,
You
hundred
remember?
percent, 100%, 100%. Because they
Who the
know
fuck are we?
he's in. Look at El Chapo. That's the whole.
Telling
That's
you.
the whole reason why El Chapo kept escaping from Mexican prison so often because he knew they were going to extradite him. El Chapo's in a supermax, and he has like, if I'm not mistaken, he has like 1 hour outside a day. He spends 23 hours in a cell by himself. This is the guy that was
Yeah, that does
making
something to you, man.
millions a week. International crime, like, and imagine like, there's one thing being a fucking celebrity in the West, but being a celebrity, especially in those type of countries, selling drugs and shit. Imagine what he was doing for the local community, because all the drug dealers are the same thing, like to kind of get all the locals involved in their shit. That give money and shit. So you're like a local hero for real, for real. And also you got the cachet of being a drug dealer, a real gangster, like cartel boss, the authority, the respect that comes with the fear, all this sort of stuff, the power. And then you're in a supermax in a country you've never been to or something, or like here and there for 23 hours a day. Come on, bro.
Oh my God.
Psst, psst,
Yo, you can't even imagine that. Like what it's like. You're not even we're letting you outside kind of, right? You're still
yeah,
you're still inside. It's just that the roof isn't there on top. You could walk around for an hour and then you gotta go right back to that little hole. Nah, fuck that, bro. Fuck
yeah.
that. And it's just and something else. It's not because you're on food stamps today that you won't be at Lil Maurice tomorrow, right? So I'm telling you, bro. It ain't worth and Gunna had the right idea. And I think, personally, if you ask me, Young Thug is a fucking idiot.
Nah, 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 nah,
He
nah,
was
nah, nah,
getting,
nah, 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 nah. Let's not disrespect Jeffrey.
I'm sorry.
Free Jeffrey,
Hey,
man.
it is what it is. Jeffrey done
Jeffrey,
fucked
yeah.
up. Jeffrey done fucked
Slay.
up, all right? He would have still been at home with his baddies if you would just chilled the fuck out. Talking about Yves Saint Laurent everywhere, it's whatever the fuck YSL means. But, nah, but yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Again, for me, I'm just. I guess there is no honor amongst thieves, right? I know that for sure. But I'm just saying, I would feel a little bit annoyed if I'm Thug and like Gunner's out. It would just crush me a little bit because you know how much he helped him in his career. You guys were like like brothers in arms in hip hop thing. Um, no one can deny the cachet and the clout and the sort of like operation that your Thug was running. Kind of even though the street stuff was a bit grimy, that also kind of contributed to Gunner's image a little bit. It kind of contributed to success. Obviously, it's not all of it because we've
Oh,
seen
yeah,
now
obviously.
since he's come out, he did an album, no features, and still smashed it, right? So he's obviously talented, no one's denying that. But that early introduction, being under the tutelage of Thug and that whole thing, YSL definitely helped him. It would just annoy me as just a man to see somebody that
Oh, yeah.
was there. Like, that's the only thing. I get why he did it. It just annoys me. And I guess everyone does it because there's fucking YouTubers who are in the mafia, which is way more sinister than whatever these little gang things these guys got on. They're in mafias and shit, right? Crazy heavy shit. And these guys are whole YouTube channels, like, talking about everything they did. Like, basically snitching on everybody. But I don't know. That's just a part of me that hurt me a little bit. You know what I mean? Seeing this guy, like, because Gunna's shining. Like, his face looks different. He's lost a bunch of weight. Yeah, he's walking with his back up straight and shit. His music is sounding better than ever. Like, he's literally glistening. Like, and in the contrast, you've got like Thug looking really heavy. His braids are all like they're not tighter as they used to be and stuff. He's trying to keep a good face on it, but he knows it's either he gets off somehow on a technicality or he gets like double digits, high ones. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, it's nothing personal. It's either you or me. It's not gonna be me. I'm telling you that right
I love how you said that. It's nothing personal, but it's you or me. That's personal.
now. I always say it's nothing personal. It's mad personal. It's like it's not personal,
Exactly.
but
It's not personal, but it's me or you.
I'll take it personally though.
And I got kids, I got to get back to them. It's like,
I got shit to do, man. What you?
that's why I'm saying, like, I kind of understand why that fucking girl, what's her name, the girl in the Megan Thee Stallion thing, who most likely was the one that shot Megan. I understood why she basically got immunity and snitched and said it was Tory. I just gave birth to a kid. I'm not going about to raise this kid. I'm not about to be in prison, have this kid out here fending for themselves. Like, no, you did it, Tory. I didn't do it. You did it, right? And I'm going to get immunity. I can't confess in the case anymore. It is what it is. I get that because, like you said, it's either you or I, and you're going to go for Tory Lanes or your toddler. It's an easy decision to make. It's an easy one. Like, you can go in prison and sing in there, mate.
Listen, I love what you say about Tory Lanez because it's so it's so beyond true as men. Like I think women might have a harder time understanding that your dick is not your friend. It might act like your friend, but oh boy, it can get you in. Like, look at him, all that because he was horny, bro. Like your entire life, yo, that's wow. That's just But I love what you're saying because it's so true, man. At the end of the day, obviously she's gonna choose her kid over you, dumbass.
Duh.
They just couldn't keep it in check.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. It's
Now look
like,
at dude, man.
the thing about it, right, is like, I'm honestly, for forever and ever, I'm always, always, always going to be extreme ownership type of person, especially when it comes to men. I just think overall, like, if you want to
Mm,
be a like, forget all that fresh and fit stuff about being, what's if you're a high value male is just basically being able to drive a Lamborghini and a Ferrari. It's just dumb. No, I mean, in terms of your mindset, you should always be leading, not following. In all flipping scenarios, you should always be the lead. You should always make people's experience of crossing you like pleasurable. You should always be a pleasure to be around. You should always have nice things to say. You should always like whatever people should like. You should always have that kind of thing about you. But you should also take always personal accountability and responsibility for everything that goes wrong with your life, or because most of the time you have an influence on how it goes. And in that situation, the genesis of that situation is when he got the phone call from Megan and stuff to come to the house. That was where it all started.
yeah.
And if he just would have took a breath, drank a bit of water, and just thought it through, okay, cool. I'm fucking one, I'm fucking both, but they don't know, and they invited me to Kylie's. I've always had because that's the thing that people don't realize about Tory. He's had a crush on Kylie for a while. Like, if you listen to his music, he mentions her. He's always had a little thing for Kylie anyway. So suddenly, all the stars are aligning, right? It's literally the devil's temptation. This is literally it. Like, it's literally all the things that you
Mm.
want shiny, right? It's like Megan, Kelsey, and Kylie. It's like fucking hell. So like MKK, okay, cool. MKK want me over there, right? M and K don't know about each other. K with the billions definitely doesn't know anything, and has already been sending me. She kind of double taps my pictures here and there. Blah 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 blah. Hmm. The logical, non-horny decision: you don't go, and then none of that happens. Maybe you have you have like a beef in a fucking club, or you argue and you throw glasses at each other because they found out. But none of that tragic situation happens if you just say, "I'm not gonna go. This is too risky." Because how are you going to navigate that? You like Kylie, but then you also smash Megan, but then you smash Kelsey. How would you? It's hard because you're the only. If I'm not mistaken, he was the only straight guy there. The other guy that was there was EJ, who was the former stylist, the gay guy. You're the only one who can potentially do anything here. So there's no other distractions. It's too risky. As a man, you should just say, I'm going to take responsibility. I'm going to be a high value male. I'm going to lead, and I'm going to say, no, devil, you shall not be tempting me. I'm not going to that house. And
Devil
you
is a
stay at,
lie.
and you stay at home. You stay at home. You turn on your IG. You do your fucking quarantine radio thing, and everything's good. But the moment he steps outside his house, done.
Nah, listen, I got the solution. The solution was in front of him this entire time. He should have just asked if he could set up an orgy. Everybody, could have fun together. If it was no, then it was no. And you just move on with your life. It would have been that. If you can't
Nah.
have him all at once, then he like his girl would have been mad at him, and it'd be like, but at least he didn't shoot anybody. You didn't end up in jail. Sure, you look like a fucking asshole because he probably is anyways. I mean, as far as like, if he's willing to do that, AZ. Like he might as well go like, yo, you know, it'd be crazy if we had to force him. Like in his shoes, I'm not saying I would do that, but and then you're like, he would have gotten everything he wanted, or he wouldn't have. It would have just been what it is.
I'm not about to have
That's
a.
just how I
I'm
feel.
not about to have a paper trail of me fucking requesting an orgy. I'm not about to have that. I'm not about to have like a that because that never sounds good on paper. Like, how are you meant to request that? Hey, okay, thanks for inviting me around. Anyway, cool. So what? Does everyone want to smash? It's like it just looks wild on paper. It looks wild on in print screen. It just doesn't look good. There's no way you can word that to make that sound cool, suave, non-creepy. It's just always gonna come across like, okay, cool.
Oh,
Please
come,
put your
yo, what's wilder, shooting the chick, like trying to smash her?
Nah, shoot a chick, because shoot a chick, you can say you're doing a dance and it just went off accidentally. You can you can lie, you can make it work, but how can you make the horny DMs not sound horny? That's why I'm
Nah,
asking you.
listen, I'm not even on this level. This is some other level player shit. You can't even imagine. This is Jesus level. Like, I bet there's some dudes that could pull that off. I'm for sure, and not look,
Impossible,
crazy.
impossible, impossible.
Uh, I bet. I,
No,
I don't think Tory Lanez could do it.
of the
I
women involved, it's
look at him.
impossible. Of the women involved, it's impossible. It's too impossible because if you know anything about hot girls, especially because there's a meme that exists on Twitter. There's a meme, especially every summer. Like there's a meme because I think Twitter has like a different scene of like hot like social media girls than IG, and for some reason they hang out with each other more. But there's a meme that exists on Twitter where every summer there'll be like a crew of like young girls within that kind of hip hop LA scene that will like click up and go on holiday. And then when they come back, they're never friends. Like hot girls can't coexist with hot girls. It's very rare you see. That's why you always see like a beast with like a group of hot girls. Like they don't. There's not. There's
Mm.
rarely like a squad of like because they don't coexist well because they're all vying for the number one position. So in that dynamic, like it's impossible to imagine a place where any of those women would be comfortable with that scenario of being looked at on the same level because they all think they're higher than each other. They all think they're badder. They all think they're cuter. They're not going to have it. It's not. It's impossible. It's not going to work. So maybe if they were like lower level, maybe girls, if that makes any sense, not to sound crass, maybe that would work. But at that level, those type of girls, their egos and the way they look at themselves, there's no way that they'll be okay with you thinking you could smash them all and they'd be okay with it. Nah, come on. It's impossible. It's impossible. If you do it, you deserve a statue being made of you for sure. If you're able to get those type of
Well, yeah.
yeah, for sure. If you could do it, but no, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Okay, fine. I declare myself defeated, chat.
It's not
AZ's
gonna
got a
happen.
point.
It's not gonna happen. That's why what you should do, as per usual, just open the window, get a fan, maybe have some ice,
Relax.
rub that on your forehead, maybe put an ice cube in your mouth, whatever. Just close your eyes, do a bit of Wim Hof breathing, and just think things through. Like just a couple of seconds. It doesn't take long. Just hold. Let me just logistically think about this. How do I roll up? Who do I like? Just think about logistics. Okay, I get there. Who do I hug? Do I shake? Do I go straight for the drinks? Like, how am I talking? You know what I mean? You got to think of all them little things. Like, what do you do? Like, when you get there, like, what are you doing? Like, are you going to pretend like you don't know Megan and Kelsey and try and go to the car? It's all a nightmare. So what you do? You just put your phone down, you turn off the notifications, and you put YouTube
Don't
on.
even go.
That's it. Don't even go.
Don't even
Don't
go.
even go. Just that's it. It's not hard. It really isn't that hard. But hey, what do I know when it comes to
Isn't it
things?
though? Wouldn't you be like, maybe? Just you know how guys think, man. Like, we're sitting here saying it wouldn't be hard, but I bet like 90% of guys that maybe would just be like torturing them and it just end up going, fuck it.
Maybe it's easier because what he did,
That's it.
the first thing was easier. The two friends, because they clearly weren't friends. That's it. They clearly weren't friends. Megan and Kelsey weren't really friends. They were just doing that hot girl thing where you're hot, I'm hot, let's click up, but they weren't really friends because they were betraying each other behind each other's backs. Right? Cool. Whatever. That's fine. But the third, who's of a higher level than both of them, it's not going to work. So that's the issue. If he would have smashed only one and then he needed a second, maybe he could have pulled that off. Like if he was only smashing Kelsey and then he went there and tried to get Kylie too, he probably could have got that. But the fact that he already hit two, the chances of him being able to hit the third is very, very low, especially when you consider none of them are friends really. They were all just clicking up because at that
Yeah,
time Megan was popular, Kelsey it was all a good look, but they weren't really friends. You know what I mean? So I think he kind of let himself
true.
down in that regard. But hey, He went for it. He went for
It is
glory.
what it is.
It didn't work out. He had to sit down for 10 years. It's not that, 10 years isn't life. Maybe because I think academics said with time served and good behavior, he could get out in 5 or 6. So 5 or 6,
For
he
sure.
he comes out in his
Mm.
mid 30s. He's still got opportunity to launch his career again. Do you know what I mean? That like it's not all doom and gloom, but still, you know.
I mean, Pinky's waiting for him, but bro, that's it.
Pinky's waiting for him.
And all his other friends. Oh, we'll
Yeah.
have. Don't worry, you get.
Bloody hell, man. I don't know. I don't. Hey. Look, it kind of is what it is, isn't it? So, congratulations to him. Hopefully, everything goes well, and keep singing your heart out. And
Good luck, Toy.
yeah, when he comes back out,
Yikes.
he'll have some fire, man. He has some fire. I know that. That pain is real. He has some flipping fire. So, okay, let me go to this. So, let's go to the Tremaine stuff because I'm curious to hear what you think about this Tremaine Den and Tear stuff, right?
Oh
Because
yeah. Mm.
so everything transpired. Most of you know what happened. I've spoken to this ad nauseum. But essentially, the founder of Denim Tears, Tremaine Emery, was appointed as the Supreme Creative Director, the first one actually in their history, basically a year and a half ago. He came in. It was a really good appointment, I thought at the time. But then very quickly, I guess things dissolved. And he was only to put out 2 collections, and then he eventually stepped down. But then later on, he revealed the reason why he stepped down is because he accused Supreme of being systemically racist. Then we found out why. And basically, the problem was that he wanted to put forward an Arthur Jaffa collaboration, who's a very popular contemporary artist that does a lot of stuff regarding black slavery and stuff, and black people in America and all that sort of stuff, Malaki, that kind of imagery. And he went to kind of position or propose one of those that artist to do a couple of collections or t-shirts and stuff for Supreme. Supreme weren't comfortable to do it, but they didn't communicate with that to him, which is what annoyed him. And then they kind of went behind his back and cancelled it, I guess. And then obviously that he felt like that undermined his authority, and he decided to step down. And then obviously accused him of being racist. So all that stuff happened. Big conversation about it online about whether or not you think he was right to do it or not. But then soon after that happened, a couple of days later, he opens a pop-up shop, or it's a permanent shop. There's a pop-up Levi's collection in that particular store, and it kind of happened within a couple of days of that whole story. And I'm thinking about sitting there thinking, like, is this all just a game? Are we living in a simulation? Is this just all part of the rollout? Or was this really an issue? Or was this all a ruse from the beginning? Like, I'm the victim, feel sorry for me. Oh, here's some new jeans. Oh, here's the store. Like, what's happening here? Did I just waste 4 hours or 6 hours of my life covering this stuff and it really was just part of a marketing rollout?
Man. So you want to know what I think about it, right?
Mm.
Listen, when I heard you breaking down everything and I finally understood what was happening, I was mad as hell, bro. Tell you the truth, because you and me, we know what real racism looks like. I don't know what the fuck he's going on about, and it's like, bro, you had a major opportunity to change shit up just like V did, So what are you doing? Why are you complaining? Do you not understand how business functions? You know damn well that's not racism, bro. You've suffered real racism. We all have, people of color, whatever. Why are you bringing this up? Like, this is just business, bro. This is how things work. If you would have just like drink some water, chill out, moved on with the collection, not put slaves getting whipped on there, you probably could have changed a whole lot of lives. But no, you rather do this liberal bullshit, like extreme left or whatever, and say, oh, they're being racist. No, the fuck they're not. They're thinking about their business. They're thinking about your paycheck, the other guy's paycheck, everybody's fucking paycheck, and keep your ego out of the business, man. Because if you're gonna keep up this bullshit, you're never really gonna, be as legendary as the other designers. Your name isn't gonna last, man. Everybody's gonna say you're a clown. I don't even know how he pulled this off at Levi's, man. Maybe he had a contract or something, because I could see other companies going, you know what? If you're about that bullshit, we don't want nothing to do with you, man. Because what are you gonna do if we work with you and we don't agree with something? Are you gonna do the same thing? Because it reminds me, like, I don't know if you remember Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, what was the name of his brand? Like, man, at one point he was all the way on top. Oh, Pyre Moss, he just fell way off. And that's what's gonna happen to him if he keeps this bullshit up, man. And this is my thoughts on it, man.
Yeah. It's surprising because that's the thing. Like, he's a real person. Like, I've met him a couple of times because he used to live in London for a bit, and he used to come into the store that I used to work at, and he knew one of my friends that I used to kind of do parties with and stuff. So I've bumped into him a few times. You know, we don't know each other, or whatever, but you know, we're aware of who we are, and I've been around him. So he's a real person in terms of like, he's worked a regular job, he's lived a normal life. He wasn't always this famous, well-known person. He was kind of a regular dude, and then obviously you got into the right crew, and you know, whatever. So that's a bit that surprised me, because usually these sort of like warped ideas of like racism, or these kind of weird identity politics or race card type of games, they usually happen to guys and girls who like usually live a life of somewhat privilege. You know, they live a life of somewhat a little bit of luxury and shit.
Right.
They don't really connect to the
Right.
real
Tone deaf.
world. Yeah, they're a bit tone deaf. They're a bit
Right.
detached from regular society. But he hasn't. He's worked retail. He's like been in bars and clubs. He's worked in normal offices. I mean, like, he's done the whole thing that person does when they're going on that creative grind. And he doesn't obviously come from money and stuff. Just a regular dude. So it's surprising to see how quickly his brain has been kind of like turned that way. Even though he doesn't actually, he's never actually had to like. He knows he's had to graft for everything he's had, and it's not only been because of racism. It's just been because of the way the industry is. And if for anything, that's the thing I was just thinking about. Now, he should be somebody that recognizes that he should know what it was like when he wasn't friends with like Kanye and stuff like that, because he should know the difference it makes your career when you're like grinding, do your own thing, trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
Then you meet somebody who's able to put a batter in your back and give you that kind of signal boost. That's what happened to Virgil. Same thing happened to Virgil. Virgil's doing his thing. You meet Ye, you become his creative director, and then that kind of boosts your profile. It helps to have somebody that can just like give you a little fucking leg up. So for him to then sit there and say it's systemic racism, when you know that's not how the game is, you know all it takes is an introduction. All it really takes really is some good person co-signing you or whatever to suddenly have the room who would like look at you like you're dirt off their shoe, suddenly be like, "Oh my god, how are you?" You know, we know how fickle the scene is. So to attribute that all to racism is so insulting. You know, like that's the thing. It's like, it's just like, bruh, like really for t-shirts.
Yeah. And because like fashion students and shit like us, like there's like 1% of us that are gonna make it. All my fashion friends are working some other jobs that have nothing to do with fashion. And it's just the fact that you come from where we come from. You could have helped some of us up, not all of us. We're not delusional, and really take this opportunity. I mean, for fuck's sakes, creative director at Supreme, my guy, what are you doing? Like, whoa, sometimes I wonder though, like, how did he get this far? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did he maneuver his way to the top? Because I think he might have lost some of his business sense along the way. You know, like his instinct or something is way off. His way of reacting is like completely fucked. And yeah, it's odd to see, man.
I think the selection of him was a good idea in terms of like, because it's hard not to miss from that Kanye crew of people or Virgil crew of people. It's hard not to miss. It's similar to like the old Supreme team. I think if you look at the old pictures of the original sort of like staff at Supreme, I think before there was like Aaron Bondroff, who like had a New York thing and had Moron Gallery. You had Jason Dill, who then went on to do fucking awesome. You had even Keith Haffernego, I think, must have worked there, did half, who unfortunately passed away recently. Like, there was a time period where those retail stores, there was an era where that kind of streetwear scene, where the guys that work in retail at these kind of places went on to do crazy, amazing things. And then the Kanye group it's like that crew of guys that are like wearing those, like Fonzworth, and those kind of, that iconic picture of them outside Paris Fashion Week. All those guys in that picture are like iconic people in their own kind of area of expertise, right? So I understood the logic behind of just tapping one of those type of people to get him involved. And also, you know, his connection to New York, his connection to the scene. He knows a lot of people that are there behind it. He knows a lot of people there from that work at Supreme behind the scenes as well, from like a personal level. It seemed like a good fit in that kind of sense, like culturally, all that sort of stuff. But when you really think about it, really deeply a little bit, it was never really going to work because he was always going to try to do. Because that's what I think I was surprised by. He wanted to basically do his brand over there. I thought he was just going to do my brand. Let me do my brand on the side, but then just do another thing when I go there, or like, give them a little bit of my taste. But he
Right.
wanted to take all the stuff that he does at his own brand and just put a Supreme tag on it when he goes over there. And it's like that was never going to work because it only works because it's your brand. You know what I mean? It's like if the Vlone guy, it's like Barry was hired by Fendi and he just started putting the V on the back of everything. It's like, bro, you're working at Fendi. Why are you putting the V everywhere? It doesn't make any sense. That's the thing I really didn't
Oh, okay. Yeah,
understand.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like it's F and you're putting a V. It's like what? So that's one thing that kind of blew my mind with it. Like he kind of wanted to do that sort of thing, and yeah, it's just again, like I said, opportunity to change things. You don't want to change it, and then for me, the thing that really kind of like made me feel like it was all like a ruse, and I'm wasting my time speaking about this, and it's all just everything's a rollout or just a store. I was like, really? I know stores get planned
I don't
out.
think so.
I know the stores get planned
I
out
I don't. I don't
way in
think so.
advance, but
No,
the optics of it were gross, man. Like all this rah rah
it's
civil
it's
rights shit, and
unfortunate.
then here's some new shit. Here's Levi's. Here's Offset collaboration. Like, ugh, yuck, man,
Yeah,
yuck,
I think it's contracts that were signed way before, and there was nobody was backing out. I
yuck.
don't see Levi's
Yeah,
going further,
just
man.
yuck. The optics of it was just like yuck, man. Okay, cool. You want to,
Yeah, I wouldn't touch this dude.
like, I don't know. I don't know. It just. I woke up. I was like, you know what? I got hoodwinked yet again. Yet again, I got hoodwinked. You know what I mean? You think it's a big deal when it's not really a big deal. Um, it's all a
You know what's
ruse.
wild though? If you compare him to like Heron Preston, bro, isn't it wild like how different they are? You see where Heron is?
But then it makes sense though, isn't it? Thinking about like, if you actually, I remember who said this. Actually, oddly enough, I think that might be Brian Callen. He said something actually quite true. I think before the rape allegations, of course. But he said something like, what did he say? He said something like, if ever you think of, if ever you some randomly you like a celebrity or an actor crosses your mind, you're like, oh, where's he or she been? If they didn't decide to like take a step away from acting, most likely it's because the industry doesn't want to fuck with them because they're a nightmare to deal with. Because most people want to work, most people need the money, most people want to, it's their passion and stuff. So if they don't voluntarily step away, if they're not in movies, it most likely means they're a pain in the ass behind the scenes. And I think in the design fashion world, it probably works the same way. If you see the same people getting all the collaborations in corporate world, most likely it means they're the ones that are easiest to work with. They're the ones that people, they don't cause them a hassle. They're not a headache. So it's no surprise that the Heron Preston's his list of collaborators is like glitzy and nice, and you know what I mean. It's just like it's like a
Right.
like it looks right, and it kind of makes sense because he must be a pleasure to deal with. No, it's just simple as that. Like you might not like what he does, but he's clearly a bit more screwed on business wise, and he's not going to get into a meeting. And if you turn down his ideas, he's going to cry racism. He's not going to do that.
No, it's simple. You got to be the house slave,
Yeah,
man. Everything is fine. Yes, master. Yes, master. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm being a bit dark about it, but you just gotta like these people on top. If you don't submit completely, they'll block you. You won't make it. Period. You will eventually burn out or some shit, right? You got to say yes to everything, and okay, we're not doing that. That's fine. And you got to be a bit of a psycho a bit. You got to manipulate people. You got to dance your way around it. And all this racism shit is just, it's not gonna fly. I really do think like he's gonna, I don't know. Yeah, he's burned some serious bridges because I think other people are watching as well. And I doubt Levi is gonna is gonna renew a contract for another store, if you know what I'm saying.
that's why Ye was a good example because he proved basically that you have to comply. Because if you think about it, it was more so his unwillingness to comply to the corporate structure, corporate hierarchy, working process, and just decency that they expect in that kind of world. Because he did a thing that I was always been intrigued by. I think what Doja Cat is basically trying to do at the moment, where Doja Cat I feel like is doing this thing where like you want to be as divisive as you can as a personality because you think your music is good enough to kind of excuse your personality. Like you're like, you know what? Even though this game is partly about being likable, I'm gonna prove that my work is so good. It doesn't matter how unlikable I am. You're gonna keep coming back. It's sort of like a drug dealer that's always late. The drug dealer's always late that you're meeting them up to pick up your fucking weed and shit. But you know when it comes, the pack is always banging. So you're gonna wait for an hour. You don't care, right? Because you know when he does come, it's always overweight and it's always a pleasure to deal with him and it's always really good product. So, but with he proved at that level, those corporate levels, you just have to do a bit of complying, a bit of buck breaking, right? You have to do a little bit of like yes massa in order to really get through on those levels. Because if you're unapologetically you and you only move to the beat of your own drum, even with he's all he had the sales to back it up. He had numbers. He could say, hey, when I step away, you guys lose billions. When I'm here, you guys make billions. Even with that, it showed that at some point, if you're not able to really show them your ass, it's not gonna work because they want to let you know that they're in charge at all times. Like you're basically their employee, and it proved with that there's always a ceiling with that shit. You can't. It doesn't work in in this corporate world or corporate America, wherever it may be.
And if I might just say, you got to stop championing this Doja Cat bullshit. She needs to calm the fuck down. She's like, AZ's agreeing with me. Look at it. He's agreeing with me. And she's on some bullshit, bro. She needs to chill out. Poverty is a motherfucker. She keeps this up for real.
Yeah, to be fair, I just think from how she came in with that move thing, it should be surprising. She's always been on the gimmick thing. She's always clear. She's the kind of person to me that strikes me somebody that always wanted to be famous, always kind of believed that she was going to be somebody. You finally achieve it, and then you realize maybe it wasn't all you hoped it'd be because now you have stands and stuff that can be annoying. But I also think, just in general, unfortunately, in the long run, her work just isn't good enough to justify that kind of attitude. It's not kind of like you have to be Kanye level of musician or Drake level of musician to behave that way. Some people just aren't going to put up with it, and I think not even put up with it. Sometimes your fan they like you because of that personality. Like, she didn't come into the scene being Azalea Banks. Azalea Banks has always been a very divisive, confrontational character from the moment one. So fans had to decide very early on: are you going to be an Azalea Banks fan or not? She kind of made it very clear what she's going to be. You can't be Taylor Swift and then suddenly change into fucking what Doja Cat's personality. Because that's what Doja Cat was like. She was always nice, pleasurable. Would take pictures with fans and stuff. Was always she loved her fans. And then she woke up one day and was like, nah, I'm going to be anti-fan. I'm going to do this whole Fargo, I'm going to do the whole what's it called? The whole Illuminati, just to trigger people. It's not even anything she probably believes in. It's just a standard marketing thing, just to kind of get under people's skin.
Yeah, just trolling. Yeah.
But if anything, you're just annoying people. People don't actually even care about the evil side of it and look of it. They just find you annoying because they can see what you're doing. They can see you're trying to press their buttons. You're trying to get under their skin. You're trying to get articles written about you. You're trying to get people to protest outside of your shows. All that sort of stuff is going to add to your marketing. So I think you have to be. Even Kanye, towards the end, people had enough, and he's like at the top tier of his craft, right? He's at genius level, and even he tested the patience of his own fans, right? So I think if you're Doja, you just don't have enough. You don't have a fucking can't tell me nothing in your catalog. You know what I mean? You don't have one. Like you can't justify. Don't have one My Beautiful Daughters of Fantasy. I can't take that from you. I'll just go to somebody else. You know what I mean? I'll just listen to fucking Sexy Red. As simple as that, really.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what you're saying about I don't know if you heard about this, but somebody bought his Nike collaboration shoes once for $1 million and put it back on auction. And don't quote me on this, but I think it was around $100,000 in price tag.
Ouch!
Like, dude lost mad money. So you get humbled real quick, man. You get humbled, man. It'll happen one way or another.
That's a hit, isn't it? That's a fucking hit. Oh, fucking hell. Yep.
Oops.
Yeah, oops.
Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. I would rather keep those on ice and just hope he comes back and he says, look, I'm sorry for the fucking anti-Semitic stuff. I'm sorry about what I said about Hitler.
Never.
I would just hope, you know what I mean? That's a hit. Oh, fucking
hell. That is a hit, huh?
Yeah, that's
$1 million.
Oops.
Woo! Dude regrets that shit. He's like, fuck.
Imagine going back
Punch in
home.
the air right now.
Imagine going
It
back
is
home
what it
trying
is,
to explain
man.
that to the
Talking too
wife.
much shit.
Exactly. Imagine explaining that to the wife when you get back home. Okay, so the housing renovations. I've got some good news and bad news. Okay, that holiday. Okay.
How do I tell you? You're not getting a
Yeah,
kitchen, all right?
exactly.
You might have to go to IKEA.
Yeah, I know you planned it all out. You've got it all in your fucking what you call it, in your Pinterest. You told all your friends. You got. I know, but
Yo,
oh,
Seven said no wonder Kim left. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Kim seemed like she was a better business person than this dude.
Now the thing with Kim,
Holy shit.
I just think Kim saw the real him. I just think like I think there was a point where
Yeah,
she
for
was
sure.
idolizing him and she saw him like how we used to see him like a god. But then you start living with a guy day to day, and he goes from like he goes from hooking up with you in the back of a car to suddenly being like Jesus is Lord and taking you to Sunday service. It's like, huh? Do you know what I mean? Like it happens because it happened in their marriage. He went from being the guy with the fucking Hennessy with Amber Rose on stage to like suddenly being the pastor guy moving his family to Wyoming and shit, right? Like
Weird.
that
Yeah.
for a regular lady who's not like because Kim is what she is, but she's still like just a regular woman, like a regular woman who happens to be one of those famous, but she's still quite normy. You're not. It's going to be hard to process that, and whatever image you have of that person, it's going to like the veil is going to be like, hold on, you're not really that amazing. You're a bit of a, all that in the head, and then obviously over time she started to unlike him, blah blah blah. But and obviously what he said about them in public, the Chris Jong Un is still one of my favorite insults of his. So rude, so unnecessary, but very Kanye. To come out in public and like insult your mother-in-law like that is just like wild, right? Like talking about your wife
Yeah,
being a
he's a
fucking
savage.
prostitute and shit, and going outside saying, "Yeah, we went to a ball fucking north," but I'd said, "What?" I think he said, "Yeah." He said in public at the time he was crying. Oh yeah, Kim went to a boat north, but I
Oh
didn't.
yeah, I remember that time.
So to a
Yeah.
women like those kind of things you say to women, like regular ladies, they're not going to take that well. Like, what did you say about me? So yeah, I think she saw the real him behind the scenes. She's like, you know what? You can have him. I'm good. She says, I'm good. You guys can have your yay.
He's trying to start a cult now. It's all good. He's moved on.
No, it's a
He's left
church.
religion. Now
It's a
it's cult.
church. It's a church, man. You're mistaking it. Don't say cult. It's a church. The intentions are pure. They all wear black and they all have to wear Yeezys and they can only go to his place. So it's not. I mean, they
They could
sing.
only eat what he says to
Yeah,
eat.
they have to
That
eat
shit
it.
without
Yeah, they
permission.
can't eat
Hello.
exactly. Babe, it's all laid out. Come on, it's not a big of a deal. It's just church.
Dude's gonna implode.
It's just church. But anyway, okay. So, let's talk about
So
the cast media stuff, right? Because this for me has been fascinating the role at first, but I want to get your opinion on what you think about this whole cast media thing. So, just to kind of give people a background, most of you know, cast media was an advertising or podcast network that basically arranged all the deals and ads for podcasters, all the major ones like The Fire and the Kid, all the ones that we know about, a few of them before, and they've been embroiled in a scandal because they haven't been paying people. And then it got to a point where they were about to be bankrupt, or they were bankrupt, and then they got saved by another company who kind of absorbed them, took on their clients, and now the new deal for the people that didn't have money or didn't get their money is they're now going to get a percentage of the money owed to them, plus the rest of it in stock, which now the stock is kind of useless because the stock unfortunately went public, or the company went public, and that stock isn't as worthwhile as it was before in the past. But the conversation to come out of most of this has been the monies, the amounts that we've been hearing about these podcasters and how much they're are out of. Brendan Schaub is quoted as saying as he's missing 1.6 million. Theo Vaughn said that it's somewhere in the hundreds of thousands. Whitney Cummings said it was somewhere within the 340,000. But I think the overall total that Theo Vaughn said in his video is somewhere over 4 million that he's heard from other, like in total, from all the comedians who haven't got their deals, who haven't got their money. So it's somewhere in the 4 million range. And I guess the conversation about it is like, okay, these guys are getting a lot of money from this sort of thing, but obviously there's a lot of conversation about how lacking in business sense and acumen and just common sense a lot of these guys have, because at one level, the scam doesn't really look that sophisticated. It was just one guy who was talking to the ads guys themselves, wasn't really being honest or disclosing the full details of what the deals were, and then he'd pay them
Mm.
based on what he got. So it was an easy scam. So I guess in this regard, how do you view what you've heard so far with this cast media stuff? That do you have sympathy for the comedians? Do you understand the scam? Do you get why they'd go for a podcast network thing? Like, how do you see all this stuff?
So, I feel kind of bad for the comedians because at the end of the day, you're not a businessman, right? So, okay, if it happens once, it was a mistake. If it happens again, you redact it. All I could tell them is as soon as somebody says, just do what you do, I'll handle the rest, you should be worried right away. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
at the end, I don't know, like, they're victims, right? Because the dude clearly, like, it goes back to that TSA thing. Like, at the end of the day, it's either me or you. And if I gotta fuck you over, I'm gonna do it. And if you let me, I'll do it even more. It's just business. It's just how it functions. Unfortunately, these guys, they're rather just think about the art part of it and not the number part of it, which is the less fun part, right? So they paid the price for doing what they love in some way and not being rational about it. Like, why would you trust this guy? For what reason? Is he your friend? Is he your mother? Is he your father? Like, you have no reason to trust this guy, but he said, trust me, bro. And you're like, okay. So I'd say they're a victim if it happens to them again. Like, I could see it happen again to Brendan because he's a fucking idiot, right? But Theo, you're not fucking with him, man. I could tell he told him straight up, like, you fucked with the wrong guy. Like, that dude, he knows what he's talking about. And yeah, it's just at the end of the day, it's a scam, but that's how business works, man. Like, if they can fuck you over, they won't hesitate. It's just what it is.
Yeah, that's the thing that surprised me because I guess I'm just a gullible, naive person. I guess when I first started listening to these guys, I kind of like similar to like a lot of these guys. You kind of like get like personally, emotionally involved, invested, and you're rooting for them because you're seeing them go from like doing it in their garage to suddenly doing it in the studio, and you think they're doing it an independent type of way. But I guess it's never really the case. They're mostly looking to get into these sort of things just to make money, really, which is obviously what it is. But the first instance somebody comes across their path who's going to help them make more money, they'll take that deal, whether it's good for them or not. Um, and most likely it isn't going to be good for them. So that's the only thing that's going to be that was kind of like a bit wild to see. Like, wow, a lot of these guys who kind of preach this independence and podcasting has allowed me to kind of have my not have any. There's no gatekeepers, all this stuff. I'm not beholden by because a lot of these podcasts are always poo pooing auditions or something. They always will say, I don't do acting because the auditions are horrible and you have to perform for people. But it's like, okay, fair enough. I understand that. It maybe makes you feel like less of a person because you have to kind of perform and beg for stuff, but you're still basically an employee and basically working for some boss now because of your scientist podcast network guy. Because this guy is essentially holding all of you guys by the balls because he's got all your money, or the majority of your money that's coming in from the pods. So putting that man of trust, like you said, into one person is absolutely wild. But then for me, the other thing that's just insane is just like how long the scam went on. Like they didn't notice for a long time, and like you said, like I guess if there's always opportunity for someone to scam, they will. But I just feel like this scam is so basic that it would have, for me, it would have been caught the first time, even the second time. If it's net
You know what?
if it's net 90 days, your money's meant to get paid, and you don't get paid net 90 days the first time. Okay, fair enough. It happens once. If it happens twice, I'm already looking for other options. That's already a bad sign for me. It's net 90 days and you're missing the payment twice on net 90 days. Like, and it's always late. That to me is a red flag. I would go to look for somebody else, but they didn't notice it. That's the thing. I was like, wow, you guys really don't have a clue, do you?
You know why? I'm just theorizing over here, but I'm guessing they make so much money. Like, us regular people, if we don't get the money, you're gonna feel it, right? You're gonna be
Mm,
like, hold up, something ain't right. But they must be getting some extra money somewhere else, so all the numbers just look fluffy to them. It's like,
yeah.
I guess it's coming in. I don't have to check. I'm either way. I'm not broke, so whatever. So that's how they get you. That's why it's so simple. It's like either way they make you think you're getting paid, right? Obviously, I'm not gonna pay you. You got your account's not in the red.
So why should you worry about it?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, I'm good. So that's what happened for sure, I think. Until somebody just had a close look. Somebody needed a little bit more money. Like, hold up. I wasn't supposed to have this much. What's going on?
Yeah, but like that's the thing though. They were grossly bigger than Tashki. They were grossly overpaid. That's the thing that I think maybe it's like knowing your value, knowing your worth. Obviously, you got to be a little bit delusional to do this whole content thing and whatever. We get it, but my alarm bells would have been ringing. Like I said, like obviously somebody that promises the world is already alarm bells, but also somebody that kind of like gasses me up and makes me believe that I'm worth whatever Brendan's amount of money he's got owed to him. Like you're actually worth 1.6 million. You think that? You think your content is justifiable of like 1.6 million? I don't think that's the case. That would have maybe set my alarm bells ringing a little bit if that was me, but I guess it didn't. In that regard, and then the money coming in, like you said, is true. Maybe they just have so much coming in on a monthly, they don't really notice when other bits are not coming in also. But again, it shows another kind of error on their part. Even though they're making all that money, the shows don't really look like it. They don't feel like it. It's just a it's just another way to kind of generate cash. Really, the shows don't feel expensive. They don't sound expensive. They don't sound like they've been money invested in it. The only one that really goes to any effort, really, on his pod is fucking Rick Glassman, right? He's the only one that really makes a lot of effort with the edits and maybe some few other them, but most of them are just the same. It's just everyone's doing the same thing. It's just a couple of middle-aged white guys in a room talking about stuff they saw on the news. That's it, and they're not even trying to
Right.
be funny. They're not even trying to perform. At least before they were trying to be funny and like they'd say something funny on a podcast that maybe work into a special, so you could see the genesis of that idea. But these is just a couple of dudes ranting and raving. It's like you're getting paid like what, 500,000? Like, God Almighty, bro, fair play.
Yo, but you know what it is? It's the ego being fed, right? Like if I tell you you're worth 1.5 million, you
Mm,
kind of like that. You're like, oh, okay, cool. Of course I'm worth 1.5 million. You're
mm.
like, oh, of course you are. And then behind it, you're like skimming 500,000 off the bat,
Yeah, yeah,
and you're giving him 500, but he's worth 1.5. I never said I was gonna pay you what you're
exactly.
worth.
Yeah, exactly,
You see what I'm
exactly,
saying?
exactly.
That's
But
how business works, man. It's wild out here. Yo, AZ, man, you're gonna get to those levels, man. You gotta start listening to what people are saying, bro, because there's gonna be a few meals coming out your way. You gotta know, you gotta hear them, man.
But that's the thing that it will just all go back into it will just all go back into the show. It's not even like it's not for me. It's not even like it's a no brainer because I just think in general, even if you're money motivated, if you just focus on having good product or at least forget you can't please everybody, but at least just making sure you please your people that like what you do, you are covered. You're gonna get more money in your bank account. It's simple as that, really. But it's just their refusal to even try to make an interesting show, entertaining show, try to entertain their fans, or even try to make it look like it's worth the money. They don't even do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, some podcasters they get money and all of a sudden they've got a gold chair or something. Or like an SLR for a camera. Like, just whatever. Nothing's changed. It's still the same thing. It's the fucking what you call it? It's those NFL seats with the fucking bit with the beer cup in it. It's the same setup really for the most part. It's the same ranting. It's the same viewpoint. It's just the same. It's like, bruh, like I don't know.
Yeah, you say there's no update.
If you're gonna make that money, at least go and at least try and just like pay people to come on your pod. Like fuck it. If you start getting that kind of money, forget trying to do the whole we're all friends. No, just just go out and fucking pay fucking Sylvester Stallone his 30 grand appearance fee and just get him on your pod. Fuck it. Do you know what I mean? Just go in that route. Go that route of just paying for talent, just for the look, even if you don't make the money back,
Uh,
just to
you,
do
you,
that. Why not?
you're thinking like Joe Rogan, man. You see how fast the studio
Yeah,
changed
yeah,
once they
yeah.
started.
And no one could ever say he doesn't because his audio is fucking crispy. It always comes out great. The video always works. Everything is set up in an amazing way. Gets all the best guests. And I've heard through the Reddits and stuff like that, through the grapevine, that although he doesn't pay people, he does offer to like get people hotels and flights and stuff. He covers all that. It's always like it's like a no brainer. He just does it. He just gets your flights and gets your hotel covered and stuff. So he makes it as comfortable as possible for you to get there. You have a car for you. Everything is fucking set up. But that's what you're meant to do if
Oh,
you're that
that's
kind of.
nice.
That's what you're meant to do at that kind of level because that's what incentivizes people to come. Because if they know they're not getting paid, but you're gonna cover their ground travel from their house to the airport, You're going to cover their flights, everything included, from there to the location, ground from the airport to the hotel to the studio. It's just a free trip to see Joe Rogan and get some extra exposure. Who wouldn't take it? You know, like at least that makes it easy. But these guys, what? They want you to go to their studio in the outskirts of LA. They want you to sit in that cramped place. You know, that probably, like, I can imagine how horrible it must smell in there. Like, you know, with all these nicotine patches on the
With
floor.
Brandon pissing in the sink.
Like, it's not, you know, them talking about dicks all the time. Like, what? Like, why are these guys talking about dicks all the time? Like, what's going on here?
Don't forget how tight Joe's body looks as well.
Yeah, come on.
He's looking so tight.
Come on, bro. Come on. You know what you want. You know what we know what we want. We know what works. So that's the thing that really surprised about this sort of thing. Like, but then it always also makes sense from a scammer point of view. Overpay somebody, they're always going to be your BTICH. Always. They're never going to leave your side because they know they're going to get the most, even though you're going to treat them bad. It's kind of like a little bit of a pimp thing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of like, be mean, keep them keen, or whatever that fucking saying is. It's a bit of that psychology involved in it. They give you a lot, then they take away a bunch from the second payment, but then you're always beholden to them because that one time they treated you good. So that's basically what he did to them, held them by the nuts, and they've been there. But that 1.6 million is crazy, man.
Yeah.
To accrue that much money.
That's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
We're all getting pimped out no matter how high we go.
It's
like even Joe Rogan's getting pimped out by Spotify. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Of course. That's a good point about Spotify, though. Like, I would have, if I have a podcast network, because I think even look at what's his name? All Things Digital, I think, is Bill Burr, and Gas Digital is Luis J. Gomez. As much as I laugh at those names and stuff, it's interesting to see the pivot that they've made. Before they were like podcast networks, they have a main channel or they have a main feed. You host your podcast on there like a Barstool Sports and stuff. That's like a network. But they saw the money's, you know, it's not the most cost-effective thing. It's a lot of money to invest in equipment, to get the pieces on there, to pay. It's a lot. It doesn't, it's not worth the hassle and the work. I can currently understand that, right? But the pivot has been interesting. They're all pivoting to making specials now, to producing video content. They've kind of turned into production companies. But the Spotify thing is the main thing. When Spotify dumped all those podcasts, if it was me and I was those guys, like Cast Media, my alarm bells would have been ringing. Because if Spotify can't make it work with Meghan Markle, all these big people on their network, what makes you think you can do it with, like, you know, Whitney Cummings and Brendan Shaw? Like, huh? Do you know what I mean? That's the thing that would have, because that clearly showing the bubbles burst in that kind of scene. Everyone was overpaid. Oh, yeah. No one's listening to pods as much as before. Like, I don't know what's happened to people's, you know, habits and stuff, but something's definitely changed, you know, like, it's not what it used to be. So I would have already been nervous if I was those guys, because if the big people can't do it, it's not going to work for you.
Yeah, you know what it is? I think the quality of the podcast has gone down. Like, even the bigger names, they be spreading bullshit that's probably not true. People not being very interesting. So I don't even know if the bubble really burst. Sometimes I wonder about that, because is it just people that dropped the ball completely and got complacent because they're getting paid now? You see what I'm saying? Like, why I'm listening to you, right? Every time I put on a show, I'm pretty much guaranteed my wife is gonna ask me what the fuck I'm laughing so hard about in the corner. You know what I'm saying? So the podcast thing is still pretty enjoyable, but when you listen to some like I tried to listen to Brendan Shaw's podcast one day and my ear started bleeding. I was like, oof, this is terrible. And some other podcasts as well. They're just not interesting. They're not keeping it's tough to do. It's hard for sure. Like, those Fresh and Fit guys are done, right?
Yeah,
like, those guys imploded.
But I guess for them, no, there is an element onto it. It's probably everything at once. It's probably a bit of a bubble bursting, people being overpaid, listener fatigue, content fatigue, quality is down. I think it's all across the board something happened, because in a common way, if you're looking at it logically, this should be the boom time of podcasting because the world's back open. Because most of my great podcast listening experiences were like my commute to work, being at work, just trying to distract yourself from like the shit job you're doing. So you put something on, music or podcast. So those are the times that I used to consume a lot. I used to listen to everything because I wanted to distract from like whatever noise I was hearing on the way to work, at lunch, on the way home, blah. So really and truly, the listenership, if you look at it that way, should be up now because everyone's kind of back to work. But it's not. It's kind of plateaued a little bit. And maybe it's a combination of all those things being put into it and people just realizing, some people are full of shit, some people are not entertaining. I don't know, but I think it's a combination of things together. But I also think in general, like you said, the quality is something that you see. There's not a lot of people that are actually trying to put on a fun show. That's why say what you want about those streamers that scream and stuff, like the I Showed Speeds and the Kai Cenats and stuff. Their fans like that though. They're putting on a show for their fans. They're not doing it for you that doesn't like them. They're doing it for their fans that enjoy them screaming, lighting fireworks in their fucking crib. They like that sort of stuff. So they amp it up. You know what I mean? Like they just turn it up. They turn up the dial and they go. And they just keep feeding the fans. They don't rest on their laurels. They don't get lazy. Like maybe they won't stream as often. But what you see from them on their streams is fan service. And I feel like a lot of those guys, those LA podcasts and comedian guys, they don't do fan service. They just do like podcast comedian talk. Like, how hard is it to perform? Comedy Store. It's the same old shit, but it's not really. They're not never thinking about it from the perspective of a fan. Like, does the fan really want to hear about you buying a Lambo? Does the fan really want to hear about how hard it is to be a comedian? Does the fan want to hear about another topic about monkeys? Like, I don't know. Like, like it's that kind of thing. They don't think about that sort of thing. And after a while, you probably, like most people, unless you're a hardcore fan, you're going to find something else. You're just going to get bored or you're just going to tune it off. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. So maybe it's a natural course of events that's happening in real time.
Right. Because you gotta, it's kind of like music, I guess, right? You gotta relate to it. And if you don't, then why the fuck are you listening to it?
Yeah,
And
it's fucking
yeah,
brutal.
it is what it is, man.
It's fucking brutal, man. But yeah, I just can't, like I said, I just can't imagine getting to a point in your life where you cannot notice that you've accrued or that you've not been paid up to the value of 1.6 million. Like, it's like, it gets to that point. It's like, for me, it's like, 1.6. It's like, you guys must have been raking in some crazy in the heyday. You must have been seeing some real money. And then I also automatically think, how much are they getting clean then? The cast media, those kind of people. If they can break you off something to the total of 1.6 million, what are they getting then for like everything that they're doing? Like the numbers must be insane. So yeah, the business was kind of built on on a house of cards. The foundation was made out of sand, so it was always going to implode, it felt like. But it's just crazy to see in the light, like, how dumb these guys are, right? It's, like, just actually dumb. And it's also crazy to see, like, how the business works. It's like, wow, man. It all makes sense now why most comedians have, like, a minimum of 2 podcasts, because that means you get 2 different paychecks. It all makes sense now. Why it's always like, it's the way it is. It all makes sense.
The comedians are not businessmen, so this is what happens.
Yeah.
You let Jesus take the wheel, and then there you go, man.
And then someone comes and says, "Okay, I'll take the wheel, and I'll take your money." So yeah, that's good. That's good. I am Jesus, and I am a thief. Like, I'm both. Have some of that. But yeah, but yeah, I think we've gone through all the topics, brother. I don't have anything more on this list to I'm just quickly going through my tablet to see. Writer strike thing, I don't really give a fuck, to be completely honest. I got that like as a small topic, the writer strike thing, but I really don't give a fuck, to be honest. It's just the writer strike thing, just to kind of touch a bit. The only reason I put it on there was just the Hollywood writer strike, because I don't like that it's affecting like working people, like regular people who behind the scenes who are like, just working as a writer and earning a monthly paycheck to pay whatever. That's the one I don't feel sorry for. As a whole itself, as an institution, Hollywood probably needs to crumble. It needs to be broken down before it can be built up again, because most of the shows and movies are fucking garbage, and a lot of these writers probably aren't worth their money anyway, even if they're playing, because the stuff that they write is fucking awful in the first place. But it's just funny to see that the majority of people who are crossing the picket line are the ones who you think can afford not to. So like the Drew Barrymore came out recently and said, "Oh, I'm gonna restart my thing again because people need to work." Like that's a funny thing to see about this sort of stuff. Like you have a union that's meant to be looking out for the benefit of everybody, really, right? It's meant to be one of the things where like we all kind of like we all kind of like we all kind of put the collective first. We put ourselves second and collective first. But it's just funny to see that the ones who are breaking the picket line, the Drew Barrymores, the Bill Maher's, are the ones that technically can afford not to. But the ones who are actually about to get evicted, right? About to get kicked out of their fucking apartments, like literally, because they can't afford rent and shit. They're the ones who are still like holding the picket line. That's a funny thing to see. How about it? Like the higher ups, man. Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's just
It's the whole strike is crazy because just imagine, coming up with like a Marvel movie or something, and dude's gonna make $1 billion off your back, and you're gonna get your $2,000 paycheck every month.
Yeah.
Do you get a percentage? Fuck no. This is wild. Like this, I was wondering for years when this was gonna happen. When are people gonna like say, "Hold up, this isn't right, man"? Like you guys are really, really messing me up. Like really having me right here. Like I get a normal paycheck and I get no percentages, and I just built this like from paper. At least like I built the entire concept. That's wild. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think I'm not so surprised, to be fair, because I think I understand from their point of view, like in general, not to be mean, especially now the way technology is. I guess the networks and the streaming companies, they know really, like the cold hard reality truth of it is that the writers are replaceable. They don't really need them. You know, that's the real brutal, honest truth of all this sort of stuff. And we're going to get to a point where with face mapping, all this sort of stuff, and they're going to get to a point where they probably won't need actors either. They can just map, fucking Thingy's face onto a body and just go from there. But they know that writers aren't that they're not that valuable as much as they were before in the past. So that's the main sticking point. So they weren't paying them fairly before. The splits weren't good. They weren't getting compensated fairly for their work. But now it's just too late to sort of like rewrite the wrongs because technology has gone to a place where they don't need to rewrite the wrongs. They can just get ChatGPT and all these other things to sort of like do what writers could do to that kind of level and maybe get someone to kind of look over that work and tighten it up. But they don't need a whole room of writers who they're paying like 30 grand each to do some work. They can just, have the first couple of drafts already done on some of those, on some of those ChatGPT type like services or apps or whatever it may be, and then get someone to tighten it up. It kind of, lowers the cost of making those movies. And nowadays, one of the main reasons why movies flop is usually because of the cost to make it, because it's hard to kind of recoup those costs. So if you can cut a lot of it out because of the manpower you get rid of, and you can do it, even though it's a bit, it's a bit immoral and it's a bit, it's not the best karma in the world. But if you don't mind that sort of stuff, I can see why they're doing it. I can see why that fucking scam is there. It kind of is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and again, like I keep saying this is business, it's nothing personal. But it's like the way we're moving forward with AI, things are about to get really wild. Like you can't even imagine. Like, yeah, you're totally right. I don't think ChatGPT is totally here today where it could probably write a movie, but I'd give it 3 years. It'll write you an entire movie, and you go, "Ooh,
100%,
that's pretty good."
100%. Yep, 100%, 100%,
What the fuck?
100%.
That's pretty good. Hey man, I don't need your ass. And the graphic designer, get him out of here. We got Mid-Journey out through the posters. This is beautiful. Like everybody get the fuck out. I'm gonna up my percentages and not pay nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
So
it's just a matter of time.
they basically that's the main thing, and unfortunately for the people, the human beings who are suffering from this, it's just the nature of the world. Like technology comes for us all, and it's going to, in one way or the other, negatively affect you in some of the work that you do, one way or the other. But unfortunately for these guys, they just didn't see it coming, and they did this stuff too late. This should have been something they did as soon as streaming started to kick off. They should have already noticed where it was going. The moment they let streaming kick off and they weren't getting the correct splits and stuff, and some people had only streaming only deals. So if your TV show movie gets picked up on TV, you don't get any revenue generated from that or residuals. All these fugazi things to kind of scam them out of their money that they're owed for their work. But they didn't address it at the time when they should have addressed it, when it started as infancy. Now it's what it is. It's very difficult to, bolt the door, close the gates when the fucking horse is bolted or whatever that fucking saying is. It's really difficult to do so. And now, unfortunately, it's too late. And, technology's gone where it's gone. It kind of is what it is.
But you know what's gonna happen? I'm predicting that tomorrow people are gonna start looking for human-made things. Like, you know how organic things are like what people look for.
Yeah,
They don't want to
right.
die of cancer and
Yeah,
bullshit.
yeah.
They're gonna be talking about human-made movies and art and shit. It's gonna be wild.
100%
People will
human
be
made.
like, is this human made? Was this made with a soul? Please, I don't. You guys just pumping out these movies. We don't. Oh man, it's gonna be.
Yeah, ethnics.
Yeah, man. It is what
home ethnics. Home of conscious movie making. We are the home of conscious human making. Yeah. Direct to your feed.
human.
Yeah, 100% human made. From our dedicated teams of writers from around the world. Yeah, it's like, what? Human made. Okay, cool. I guess so, man. Human made. But yeah, hey, what can you do? It kind of is what it is. The people that are suffering, thoughts and feelings, prayers and shit. But hey, I think a part of me is also like, when did you think this is gonna last? I mean, you write scripts for TV and like this is always gonna end. You should have pivoted to something. You should have been writing on Substack. You should be writing poetry books. You should have shifted your business. You know what I mean? Like, how long did you think they were gonna need writers to write scripts for fucking sitcoms and dramas like CSI and shit? Like, somebody for sure is gonna be able to put together like some sort of script or whatever they call them, right? To churn out different episodes of CSI. It's not difficult, right? They're usually the same kind of format for the most part, right? The crime at the beginning of it, maybe a roadblock, maybe there's some sort of a person you need to combat, some little bit of corruption, maybe there's a little through line of a family story, but they kind of the tempo is the same. How they basically spread out is the same. It's not hard to set up the parameters, put that into some sort of AI thing, churn it out. You've got 10 seasons of CSI and those type of stuff in the bank, locked and loaded to go. Did writers think they could like earn a living forever and ever writing scripts for that? Like, come on, bro, come on. It was always gonna end.
But like, why would you believe that it would end this way, right? You'd much rather just believe that you're gonna do this forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's
like the idea is it's too terrifying to even conceive of, even though you should. But I guarantee their brain is like, nah, no way.
Yeah,
get the fuck out of here.
I think I would have been thinking like that because at one point my phone had a cable on it, and I had to fucking press buttons, physical buttons to fucking call people, and I had to remember people's phone numbers or write it down on paper. And then suddenly I now have a phone where I can make beats and fucking edit videos on it. Do you know what I mean? And I can
Wow.
Come on, man, like you should have known. Like there was a point in time where you couldn't play multiplayer, didn't exist on video games. Now there is not such thing as just playing by yourself. It doesn't exist really for the most part. Everyone's online. Like you should have realized at some point shit's about to change. You know what I mean? When you don't need cables for your headphones anymore, you should have thought, you know what? There might be a point where they won't need me with a pen. They won't need a pen anymore. They won't need my body here anymore. It'll just be fucking. It'll just be fucking laptops. It'll just be fucking laptop stations or PC stations just churning out scripts.
Bro, if you think about it, if you really think about it, it goes even further than that. When people used to work at factories to build cars, and now today, you see what I'm saying? It's all machines. And I think grocery stores, McDonald's, all those fast food places where people work, they're gonna get wiped out. It's just a question of time. It's so fucking scary.
And you already see at McDonald's, isn't it, with the screens? Well, you see the screens already with the screens at McDonald's with touch points. You already know, like you look at it, you think you feel bad for it. Like you're like, how soon are they just gonna make this whole thing these screens? and then just have and then
Bro.
maybe have people in the kitchen, or maybe just make it all automated. How long do we get to a place where you rock up to McDonald's, you press your finger on the screen, and it just comes out of like a vending machine? Boom, boom, boom. Because it's all the same anyway. Like, it's like, how hard could it? What really difference quality level would it be from a robot making your double cheeseburger to a human
No,
when it's
not
all
that hard.
when it's all just stacking stuff on top of each other and it's all order? It's not be that difficult. So sooner rather than later, there'll be a
They
time
already-
when that's always going to be. There might be a cleaner in there cleaning up and packing up and putting stuff in bins, but all of it is screens.
Ugh.
It's all
That's
just
so
screens.
horrifying.
Yeah,
Can you think about that? How horrifying that? But it's true. There's a spot in France here that's a pizza place. It's all robots. There's nobody in there.
Jesus Christ.
They just turn out the pizzas all day, bro. And people at McDonald's always fucking complaining, obviously, because it's impossible to work there. It's because of the screens. The orders go even faster. So eventually, you know what I'm saying? Eventually, obviously, we got to put machines in there. People can't take this. They're not doing it yet because, like, I think people would. I don't know. People would be really pissed. Like, they would do something really stupid. Because, like, if you lose your job at McDonald's, imagine that you don't even have a job at McDonald's anymore.
Yeah, that's
Like, what would people do? Wild, right? Man, that's a crazy rabbit hole, man.
And we love convenience as humans. Look how quickly we adapted to Uber. Like, I think it's that famous Bill Burr. I forgot who said the joke about Uber. Like, oh, we all decided one day to like trust random men to like take our kids around in cars and stuff. But there was a point where that would be unfathomable. To just like, jump in a stranger's car and just let him take you somewhere. But the convenience of not having to go to like a mini cab station or call them on the phone, we were willing to take that risk. So the convenience of not having to like talk to somebody, especially if you're like hungover and way to McDonald's, you don't want to talk to somebody and go your order through. You don't want to wait in a queue. The convenience is just pressing a button on the screen and having the stuff pop out in a little hole. Like, people are gonna want that way more than, oh, let's think about kids and their employment. They're not gonna give a fuck. As soon it makes their life easier, it makes it more carefree and stuff, simplifies their life, they're gonna take it.
Yeah, and the possibility of getting sick just drops dramatically as well. Because if you think about it, like a machine would probably not make any errors, or a kid that just took a shit and now he's handling your burger.
Yeah, exactly. Good
Now
point.
you're
Yeah,
sick.
good point. Yeah, or he's been picking his nose. He's been digging for gold in there before. It's like, bro, like, come on.
He don't like the way you look.
Exactly.
He's
Yeah.
spitting your burger. It's
That's
bullshit.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get none of that. Everyone gets treated like literally equally in the McDonald's screens. As long as you have money, you get your food. No one cares. You know what I mean, it'll be the true place where they don't see color. That should be the new tagline of that McDonald's. You know what I mean, we don't see color. That for sure they don't see color.
Come as you are, we're here. Oh man.
But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so those are all the topics for now. We are finito for now, my friends and ladies and gentlemen. Unless you got something to talk about, Rodeo?
Not that I could think of. I think we pretty much covered everything, huh?
Okay.
That was a really fun time, man. Thank you.
No problemo. People say in chat, racist AI. Yeah, exactly. No. Oh, mate, honestly. McDonald's will probably be the most McDonald's would be the most progressive, left leaning company in the world that did that. I mean, we don't actually see color. We don't have any whatsoever. You know what I mean? Like, we're just about your money.
You don't have anyone.
Nothing. Yeah, zero. It doesn't exist here. No discrimination at all. We've eradicated discrimination. Racism does not exist in McDonald's. We have robots and screens. But anyway, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, big up everyone in the stream chat for hanging out. Appreciate all of you. Obviously, Rodeo, appreciate you for joining me, brother. Always a good and fun time to chinwag, even though, my ability to unmute tabs and have audio equipment set up is just on another level, but we move. You know what I mean? Not all of us are blessed.
You gotta hire somebody. Bro.
Hey, exactly.
Somebody
Who could I think? Maybe someone like Cast Media. Get them involved, and
there you go.
Yeah,
get the right idea.
Yeah,
man.
Get Cast Media to promise me 2.5 million each episode and stuff, and they'll pay it
in stock.
In stock options. They'll pay it next year when there's a solar eclipse. When this happens, I mean, I get it. So, yeah, but big up everybody in the stream chat. I appreciate all of you guys for hanging in there. and for being patient with the show and stuff. It really is always a fun time. So Rodeo, tell them how they can find you if they want to reach out and stuff and follow you or whatnot. How could they reach out and find out more about you?
If you guys want to follow me on Twitter at Rodeo Brito, Instagram, I'm on there as well. Just give me a follow. I'm always around. My DM's always open. Thank you, Josie. Much love. She's saying to have me back on. You hear that, AZ?
Yeah, brother. Of
So
course. More than happy to. More than happy to. More than happy to. This time I'll
shout out
just
to everybody. Yeah.
this time I'll just stand outside or something. I mean, more than happy to, with a mic.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys. Such a good time. It's always a real pleasure to be around us AZ fans. You know, we love hearing them talk. So thank you, AZ man. What a pleasure.
No problem, man. Happy to have you on, brother. But yeah, big up everybody on the stream chat. Appreciate you. You've got what's you call it? You've got Rodeo's Twitter here on the screen where you can see the information and shit. So give him a follow and whatnot. Like his content, retweet it, all that good stuff. You know, share. And yeah, brothers and sisters, thank you for tuning in. Always a pleasure, never a chore. And we are out. Peace out, everybody.
Peace out, everybody.